This is the Wait For It podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Wait For It podcast. I am your co-host, Phil Barrera, aka Phil the Filipino.
And I'm your other co-host, Mr. Eric Almighty. And for this month's edition of What Did I Miss? Phil, you surprised me with our biggest episode yet, and I'm very excited to recap the month of February in pop culture and beyond.
Yeah, last month, Eric, he went into Canva and created a beautiful new layout for this specific episode, and I thought to myself, boy, he is going to be mad in February, because I've had this guest lineup put together for a few months now, and have been very excited, and circled my calendar, waiting for this, for this evening, to bring in the co-host energy rendition of What Did I Miss? It is, I usually say, you can wait till like towards the end of the episode to watch the video version of this on YouTube, but you should probably watch this episode on YouTube just to kind of get the full experience. But you can also, again, switch over when it comes to the game that Dylan fucking spoiled in the pre-show. So let's introduce all of our guests. Dylan last. Eli from Super Pracker Pros. How are you doing here this evening? Thank you so much for taking the time, and it's good to see you. How are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm just like loving. I'm just surrounded by co-host love and energy, and there's nowhere else on earth I'd rather be. So I'm so excited to talk and hang out with some wonderful, plentiful co-hosts and bring just unmitigated chaos that only we can muster.
Yes, the chaotic energy will run strong all throughout this episode. Next up, we have Kate from Game of Groans, also a returning What Did I Miss guest. Kate, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing so well. I'm so excited for this. I've been eagerly anticipating this recording for about a month and a half when you planned it. So it's this is a treat. I'm so excited.
Yeah, very, very much looking forward to it as well. And Dylan's here. So, Eric, as... No, I've been on... Between Eric and I, we've been on Friendly Neighborhood Gamers like 18 times in the last 3 months, so I really owe it to Dylan to give him a chance to introduce himself and say hello. Dylan, how are you doing here tonight? You were having like serious work-related stuff before this, and now I'm just shitting on you. So how are you here tonight? It's good to see you.
I'm having fun. You know, if there's one thing us co-hosts can do, it is introduce some chaos and ruin your surprises. So you know, like that's what we do best. So I'm excited to be here for it.
It is what we signed up for. So I'm very excited to jump into the February edition of What Did I Miss? If you are new to the podcast, as I always tell people, wild episode to start off with, but we appreciate you being here. And What Did I Miss is, as Eric alluded to, is just an opportunity for all of us and for Eric and I and our guests to talk about any pop culture stories of note that you may have missed in the previous 30 days, and give you guys, give each of our guests an opportunity to present a specific story, and then we play a game at the end of the episode. And this month, we will be debuting a new game, so no Jeopardy this month, but if you're a Weight Watcher, you know what that game is already, but we'll tell you more about how to become one of those Weight Watchers a little bit later. But Eric, is there anything else we need to go over with our guest or our audience before we bring in, of course, the star of the show and your favorite part here in just a moment?
No, I think it kind of explains itself, going over as much as we can, and we'll save a Discord roundup. If you're not a part of our Discord, we go over pop culture news with all of our community throughout the month and talk a lot of shit. So definitely join there. But speaking of talking of shit, this wheel, right? This wheel is a option that we instilled into this edition of What Did I Miss when we revived it last year. And sure, could we just, like civil adults, decide who's going to go? And would that probably make things smoother? It would. And does it now look even more convoluted with an additional guest than normal? Yes. Yes, there's a lot of names here. But we are going to do this. So what I'm going to ask is for our guests, they'll come off of mute, and we're going to simply do a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and you guys are going to say it along with me. Spin that wheel. So I'm going to count us down, and in that same cadence, We're going to say spin that wheel. Dylan, Kate, Eli, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Here we go.
All right, let's do that. We're going to try this. We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
Spin that
wheel! Honestly, not that bad for
That's
fun.
pretty good.
Da-da-da-da.
Oh, solid.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh.
Uh,
Dylan, good. Let's get Dylan out of the way.
I appreciate that you could have just, like, for that wheel, you could have just put 5 names in and just spun, like, a wheel that had just 5 names in it, but you put 15 names in.
Listen,
No,
Dylan,
make it
not
make
my
sense.
first wheel, okay?
It also stopped being color coded with that many, which I was like,
Yeah.
my brain, I don't like it.
All right, Dylan, what did we miss in February 2025?
Well, so since my podcast that I co-host on is mainly about video games, I figured we could talk just a little bit about the PlayStation State of Play that happened this February. I know Phil and Eric, you guys are pretty big PlayStation guys. Kate, Eli, I don't know if you're PlayStation or, whatever. I'm not. I lean more Xbox, but it's always cool to see, in my opinion, kind of what's coming out. So we got a bunch of news on kind of a bunch of like upcoming stuff that most of it's coming out sometime this year in this PlayStation showcase. Did anyone else get a chance to watch it or look at it? Or
I saw a couple of
Okay.
things. I
Yeah,
didn't get to
same.
watch it live, but yeah, I've seen a few.
Okay. So I figured I would just kind of shout out some of the big stuff that looked cool to me. At first, I'll preface this by saying there was nothing that I saw where I'm like, oh man, I got to rush out and buy a PlayStation 5. They did not announce like Bloodborne 2 or anything, but they did let us know that it's would not be a PlayStation event if they didn't talk about yet another game that they're remastering. So they are remastering Days Gone, which is the host of Your Friendly Neighborhood Gamers, one of his favorite games of the PlayStation side of things. Basically, it's a cross between Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead. So that's pretty cool. That's coming out. They announced the Borderlands 4 release date. It's coming out in September. Are you guys big Borderlands? Who picked up Borderlands in our fantasy league? Somebody picked it up.
Yeah,
Eric
that was me begrudgingly.
Oh,
Eric, you muted again. Again somehow. Did you hit your space
Co-host
bar?
energy is just rubbing off. It's just rubbing off.
Should have just let him go and been like, huh?
And just been like, pretend to listen.
Yeah, just not
That's crazy. That is crazy. And before I get us too off course, I did put in a bid, but Dylan, it was like a pity bid. It was like, I want to show that I bid for it, but I think you guys are going to really fight for it and spend a lot of money. So I bid $5, and when I ended up with it, I was like, oh,
I didn't
cool.
want this.
I
No,
guess
we might be fighting in the bids to counterpick it this
counterpick
week.
crazy.
But I did see some nods from Eli and Kate of, sounds like you guys like some Borderlands. Are you excited for Borderlands 4? Or
I wasn't crazy. Borderlands 2 is one of my favorite games. I wasn't crazy about Borderlands 3. I never finished it. So I'm curious to see what route they go and if the writing will be better.
Yeah, that is very much the same camp I am in. What about you, Kate?
I was trying to do the spacebar thing, but it was just double clicking for some reason. I have briefly played Borderlands 1. I am not very good at that kind of game, and so I'm a big watching my husband play Borderlands fan.
Yeah.
But I love the aesthetic, and I like a lot of the writing, and I like the the storyline behind it. It's just it's such a good vibe in general that I enjoy it. So it's the kind of thing where, obviously, as as game series go on, sometimes it's like, oh, they're just still making these, but it's, you know, it's one that I haven't like, none of them have been like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. So I don't know. I think it'll be exciting. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that like sometimes it's fun to just have a goofy, fun game that you're not taking too seriously. And if anything, I think Borderlands 4 can maybe be that this year. You know, so I'm interested to see how it does. We also got a release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which is like the remake of some Metal Gear game. I don't know. I'm not a big Kojima fan, so I'll try this one maybe. But they showed off like a lot of single player stuff. It looked like Tides of Annihilation, which looks like it's some sort of magical Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur thing set in a post-apocalyptic England. So that looked kind of cool. I'm not sure that one's coming out this year. But they also showed off the Hell Is Us, Lost Soul Aside, a bunch of that kind of stuff. We did get a Split Fiction trailer, which I know a bunch of people are excited about. So that is Joseph Ferris's new game, the guy who did A Way Out, It Takes Two, Brothers, I think is the other game that he did.
Yeah.
So that one's going to be a lot of fun, it looks like. I'm excited for Split Fiction. It is like a co-op game. So if you have people that like co-op games, that looks like a really cool one. And then the other one that kind of stood out to me was the Supermassive Games Directive 8020. So Supermassive Games, they're the ones that make sort of cheesy B-movie horror choose-your-own-adventure games. So they're the ones that did Until Dawn way back in the day. They're the ones that have done The Quarry, if you guys have heard about that. And they also, like, those are kind of their big premiere ones. In between those, they release usually about once a year, like a shorter, smaller, less polished experience. So they've been making those. They're all kind of interconnected in a way, but like different stories. It's like an anthology series, basically. So this one is a like futuristic sci-fi one that I think looked really cool. And at least on as like the Friendly Neighborhood Gamers, we have kind of a tradition where every Halloween we'll play through like one of these games, basically, to number one, just talk about it, get an episode out of it, but also because like it's fun to like pass the controller around. Everybody gets kind of like assigned a character, and like Andrew's wife, my sister, and like some of these people that aren't like big video game players all of a sudden find themselves having to like control a character and try not to get them brutally murdered in like the first act or something like that. And so it's fun seeing how the story changes as we go and how our decisions kind of impact that. So that's the one that I walked away from this showcase like looking forward to the most personally. And I would say right behind that, we got some more Monster Hunter news, and we got some Lies of P DLC news. Those look cool, but the thing that I hadn't seen before was the Supermassive Directive 8020. But yeah. So that was.
Yeah, my question is, I posed this to Eric, like once it was announced, like who in 2025 hasn't already played Days Gone that really wanted to? First off, there's already like a PS5 like upgrade available for free. They kind of like made it run better in 2024 or whenever it was. So I'm like, what is the purpose of that? Like, I thought that maybe it's to test the waters to see if they can go ahead and launch a sequel, which Eric and I also did an episode on Days Gone a few months back, and it was not our bag. It was not for us. So Andrew was not very happy about that. But
and context, we played at least 10 hours of the game. So
Wow.
it's not like Phil will typically sometimes drop a game within an hour or two. So to his credit,
You gotta
and
refund it.
to me as well, toxic behavior. We both did put quite a dent into it, and I think Phil, you liked it a lot more than I did.
yeah, because I thought that I could see why portions of it was like really, really popular, but as far as like especially in the early game, in terms of the dialogue and the story structure, I was like, man, this is dragging, and it did it so much that I didn't want to play it anymore once we hit that 10-hour mark. So, and I played it enough, I feel like, to know that I don't want to revisit that world. But I think but I also think it's not a bad thing for Days Gone 2 to exist. You know, like why not just have more single player experiences? And it's getting a huge kind of resurgence in the last couple of years too. So.
Yeah, it is one of those things that I do wonder, because we talked about it on that episode of our show that you were on, where it's like when you cancel like 17 games or something like that you had in development, maybe this is what was left is the remaster of Days Gone. Like, and that's the best you've got
They're
for
like
your
rummaging
showcase.
around in a storage shed, and they picked up a Days Gone. Like, oh yeah, I forgot I had this. It was probably like already remastered. They just like threw it away.
Yeah. We don't want this.
Oh,
well, now
yeah.
we don't have anything else, so
Yeah.
I guess we need something. So,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you like hate any of those other games on PlayStation? Are you guys even? Do you guys even own PlayStations? Any PlayStations in either household?
We're in Xbox and Nintendo
Yeah.
and PC family. We literally do not own a PlayStation. I was just thinking, I was like, we literally have all of them except PlayStation. So
Yeah, I just have a PC that my friend sold me ridiculously cheap. So.
It's the way to go, man. With it being more accessible than ever to get a gaming PC, it's 100% the way to go now. Like I told Eric later last year, like we picked the perfect time to get into PC gaming. So, still on my PlayStation a lot, but I could see that evening out even more in 2025. But yeah, overall, Eric, I don't know how you felt, but I felt like it was kind of like a relatively underwhelming state of play. I definitely want to play Snake Eater. I've never played a Metal Gear game, and that one is the one I've always wanted to play. So as far as them remaking it, very excited about that. And then Borderlands, I know like people hated, the fans of Borderlands hated Borderlands 3. That's the only one I've ever beaten. So I enjoyed it, but I'm also not excited for Borderlands 4. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it will do just fine, which is why I didn't bid a lot in the Fantasy Critic League. A couple of games that I was involved in as far as picking up in our league, and games people might want to look out for that didn't get as much of attention as the big hitters. The Midnight Walk is a dark fantasy adventure game. It looks really, really cool. Very much in a stop motion like of what South of Midnight's trying to do this year. Obviously a much different style of game, but they're similar in that way. Shinobi Art of Vengeance, it's a 2D action platform. It's a revival, I believe, as well, which seemed pretty cool. Lost Soul Aside, as you mentioned, Dylan, as well. And then one that I'm excited about, I don't know how it will score, because these games don't typically score very high, but Five Nights at Freddy's, Secret of the Mimic. My son has been huge into Five Nights at Freddy's, so now I know the lore, and I want to know what's going to happen. So that's a personal pick of mine that kind of flew under the radar. But overall, I do agree with Dylan's first statement to kind of kick this all off. Like, none of this made me, if I didn't already have a PlayStation, I wouldn't tell Kate, go buy one. Eli, go get one.
Days
for
Gone
this
remastered.
game.
Here I come, baby.
And again, no, I don't want to get into Days Gone hate. I don't want to do it. We have a whole episode where you can hear us rip that game to shreds, which we don't like doing, but that game, I do believe, deserves it.
Deserves a remaster or deserves to be ripped to shreds?
Deserves to be ripped
Oh,
to
okay.
shreds. It also does deserve a remaster, because the issues with that game, some of them are just so fucking stupid to have in a game. They're so dumb. So from the dialogue to the choppiness of some of the gameplay, there is a better version of that game that could exist. Maybe that's the remaster. I won't know because I won't be playing it.
So it deserves better, but someone else deserves that better version.
Yeah, I don't
not
want.
you.
We don't want that better.
Yeah, it's
Somebody
like when you
out
get
there.
out of a
I'm sure.
relationship
I
and
really-
they get into another one. You're like, I hope you're happy, but I want nothing to do with it.
I thought you were
I
going to
love
lead
this for
into.
you and not me.
I thought you were going to lead into this deserves to get remade so a new generation can make fun of it. I thought you.
I
No,
hope
I don't-
someone
I don't-
out there
I don't wanna
spends
have,
$60.
No, I don't want to have like that much hate spread over like generations. I don't just. It's okay. We can
Generational
hate it
hate.
right now. No, honestly, it living on that long pisses me off more. The thought of it. So let's not do that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what else PlayStation has planned for us down the line. But again, just to plug the episode that I did with Friendly Neighborhood Gamers recently, we're a little worried about the current state of the console generation. So if you want to check that out, you certainly can. Eric, let's get back into it here.
All right.
4 people left now instead of the usual 3.
It's color coded again. Yay!
There we go.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. You guys know the drill. We're going to all, after a countdown of 3, 2, 1, say spin that wheel. It went pretty good the first time. Let's see how it goes this time. We're going to do it in 3, 2, 1.
Spin that
Wheel.
Okay.
We're doing pretty good on those.
Not bad, not bad. All right.
Aw.
Let me find a story. Let's see.
You didn't do your homework?
Come on.
You forgot to take out the homework.
You're about to bring up.
Were you the person that told the teacher? No, it was definitely Dylan.
I was the teacher. No, that's the thing.
And it's crazy again to go while Phil finds his story to go back to the co-host thing. Phil knows all of you, so he can cater a story that you would all know and still didn't do it. Where the second I saw all 3 of you, I was like, "Fuck! I've got to find a different story."
You gotta pick who you're pandering
see.
to now.
Yeah, it's not.
I was about
like,
to
I gotta
say,
pick a
oh
better
damn, like spring training scores are crazy.
And I just zoned
this
out
was nuts.
visibly.
So the 4 nations in hockey, right? I don't know. All right, do I want the interesting one or the stupid one?
Ooh. Do
I think you know the answer.
interesting.
Well, interesting
Well-
also has a stupid part to it as well. So I want
Both interesting and
let's
stupid.
talk about that. Yeah, huh? Yeah. So let's do this. So, God. So there is a movie coming out directed by Martin Scorsese, and obviously Scorsese's in it, so it's going to involve Leonardo DiCaprio, Emily Blunt, awesome Git, and Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. One of these things is not like the other.
I almost picked this.
And it is set to be a cross between Goodfellas meets The Departed in a crime drama. The hot package in town is a pitch for a Martin Scorsese-directed untitled drama that would star Dwayne Johnson, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Emily Blunt. The thumbnail description: imagine Robert De Niro's Jimmy the Gent character from Goodfellas, but as a ruthless Hawaiian crime boss based on a real figure. Wow, which one of those 3 characters is going to play the Hawaiian crime boss? Is it Emily Blunt?
Emily Blunt's range is phenomenal.
Or is it
so-
going to be Emma Stone? Because she's
Or
Asian.
have they not casted it and it's Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson. But as a ruthless Hawaiian crime boss based on a real figure who battled encroaching rivals for control of organized crime in Hawaii. It's going to be written by Nick Bilton. The film focuses on a turbulent time on the island Paradise when an aspiring mob boss battled rival crime factions to wrestle control of the underworld of the Hawaiian Islands. And it was a bloody battle, the kind of terrain Scorsese covered in both Goodfellas and The Departed. Scorsese, DiCaprio, Blunt, sign me up. Again, how did he get involved with this? For years, Eric, dating back to the origins of this podcast. This has changed now because he has been in, I think, a good movie since then. But my whole thing for the longest time was that Dwayne Johnson had never been in a good movie as the lead. And I did not count Moana. Moana did not count. I think recently I came around because, Jumanji's pretty good. And then maybe there was like one other one that was like okay, but it's probably not. And he's okay in Fast and the Furious. You know, he like does his part or whatever. But that was my whole thing. So first off, Goodfellas meets The Departed sounds awesome. That sounds fantastic. But Kate, I'll throw it to you first. What do you think about this? Because it seems like this was on your radar as well. What do you think about 2/3 of this and then the other part?
I think that I like a lot of genre movies. I love The Departed. I think it's so good. I watched it in film school. I was insufferable about it. I love it. And I like the idea of someone sort of broadening the genre of sort of the, you know, the typical gangster movie and, you know, bringing in different nationalities, heaven forbid, and, you know, like diversifying a cast a little bit more. I don't know if Scorsese is the one to do that. I think that I feel like the newer ideas that Scorsese has had have been, what if it's my same guys, but we CGI'd them young? And I'm like, that's not really groundbreaking. I know this guy, I want to cast him again. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting bananas take, but I feel like it needs to be an entirely new set of eyes that needs to tackle this, and maybe not Scorsese. That's my take.
Interesting. Eli, what do you think about this pairing of people?
Like, okay. I love Scorsese. Behind the scenes, he does a lot with like world cinema, and you know, I love that he does his own thing. But when you said, "Oh, so The Departed meets The Goodfellas," you thought that sounded awesome. My first thought was, "Oh boy, a crime drama mixed with a crime drama." You know, like
You know what would be good with this cookies and cream ice cream? Chocolate syrup.
And it's like the Scorsese crime dramas are so good, but how many times can you have a dude, you know, start from nothing, get wealth? We saw him destroy his life, and you know, we cut that over and over again. I would love this movie if it changed up the formula, but I just have this gut feeling we're just gonna see another rise and fall kind of story arc that we've seen so many times in these crime dramas. And like, I would love it if Scorsese changed it up a little bit, having The Rock in. Hopefully we see more of his range and see Kate said, like bringing it into Hawaii, you get a change of scenery would be really exciting. But I just have a feeling in my gut of like, oh boy, he's coming up in the world. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Oh, it all comes tumbling down, you know?
Eric, I can just picture Dwayne being in this meeting and being like, unless I can take my shirt off, I am not gonna do it.
Well, listen. I mean, he is wearing a bodysuit for the live action
For the Moana.
So
yeah,
maybe he's taking a turn and he's gonna go out of his comfort zone. I'm with Eli. If we're, and the man is 50, and in his ways. I mean, his recent filmography. He's
gonna hit that fucking eyebrow raise in the trailer. I fucking know it.
No, for sure. He's set in his ways, and he is absolutely. With his recent filmography, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. He is trying to make mass appeal movies. So this casting is really odd, but not when you find out he's gonna lead this film. And that worries me, because whenever he leads the film, he tends to take over and throw on that rock charm that he thinks he has. And I think he has to know, but maybe he's blind to it, that audiences are just not loving this. Like, they're not enjoying that appeal that he thinks he has. And yeah, if you want to get more modern audiences or general audiences to see a Martin Scorsese film, I guess that's the approach you go with. But unless he's going to pull out a performance that we've honestly yet to see from him in the past decade or longer, then I don't even know. Because Phil, I didn't always agree with you that The Rock didn't have a good movie, because I enjoyed like his earlier work, like films like The Rundown, and I'm a big Walking Tall guy. I like that movie a lot more than most people. But there was a turn where he just stopped doing those more serious roles, and I think that started with like The Game Plan and Tooth Fairy, and
he had that 3 or 4 movie Disney run.
The Race to Witch Mountain, yeah, and he was funny in Get Smart, but that wasn't a lead role. So yeah,
he is so good in those comedic roles. He is
For sure.
so good.
Well, I'm so interested in seeing him work with Scorsese specifically, because Scorsese is one of the he's like on the Mount Rushmore directors, American directors, and I'm just so curious to see what Scorsese does with him. Like that curiosity trumps whatever doubts I have. I just want to see what happens.
yeah.
I think that's it. Like I think hearing Dwayne Johnson written by Martin Scorsese, I think is really interesting. All I can hear is Dwayne Johnson talking like he said, "Ooh, what if I said this?" And the director's like, "Yeah, all right, I guess you say that." And he just kind of squishes his own stuff in there. Like, I feel like I really don't know if there's a role where I'm like, okay, no, you are acting and performing someone else's version of who this character is. And I think that if he actually goes all in and doesn't make it the quirky eyebrow, whatever, some bitch, whatever he wants to call someone, which I don't think flows with that dialogue. But also, is he going to have his, I have to beat everyone in a fight clause in this?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Dylan, let's get you in here. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, no, I agree with what you guys are saying. Number one, I think that The Rock, the roles I've enjoyed him in have been the comedic ones. I think he does a lot better in those roles like Jumanji or something like that. When it is a little bit sillier and goofier, this doesn't sound like that, I would assume. But like what Kate was saying, it's, I think I've seen this a lot with other actors where I wouldn't have necessarily pictured them in some sort of a role, but then they got into a Tarantino movie or a Christopher Nolan movie or something like that, and they follow it's one of the best performances they've ever had, and I think Scorsese is kind of up there in that tier of oh, I'm just so honored to work with this director that I'm not going to push back on direction. I don't think I'm better than this director, but I am curious to see some of the stipulations that it's been, thrown out that The Rock has in his contracts. Are those going to be you guys were kind of talking earlier about the standard typical crime drama, storyline of starts from nothing, builds up their criminal empire, and then the end of the movie is usually oh no, crime didn't pay after all, and it's gonna be hard to do if he can't Scarface would have been a totally different movie if Scarface didn't die at the end, so.
Hey, shout out to the Scarface video game that explores that alternate reality, and it is incredible. That's an incredible game.
If he just deflected bullets instead, if they just pinged off his chest, that's a very different movie.
Was Black Adam always in Scarface? I've never
Okay, wait. Would you guys be more or less interested in this movie if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson wore the Maui bodysuit?
Okay, I would 100% see it then. Fucking sign me up. Oh my god. I'm back on board.
Might be more interesting. No, I definitely, I think once we learn through the grapevine or leading up to the film, is this a Martin Scorsese film or a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film? I think that will tell us everything we need to know, because I'm sure we can all imagine with our perspectives or perceptions of them as people or actors. If Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro or Leonardo DiCaprio are working, there's probably some dialogue back and forth of how to work a scene. Now insert The Rock there and think of what he's, I feel like I should be raising my eyebrow here. I feel like I should be doing some type of pose. You could just imagine the ridiculous conversations he's probably happening. And I think from an image perspective, that's what he's just not getting. It's kind of cringe.
I wonder, and I don't know if anybody else other than Eric and I have any wrestling fandom in their background, but Eric, I wonder how much of this, because we know he has a huge ego, how much of this is about the fact that John Cena and Dave Bautista specifically have lapped him when it comes to acting.
Oh no, he's definitely insecure about it. I think that is no question. And I think again, recently it doesn't appear like he's making a change, but outside of the Moana movie, moving forward, I mean, he is doing not only this, but also a film called The Smashing Machine, which I believe he's going to be doing like a mixed martial arts UFC fighter, Mark Kerr from the UFC. So that's another film. There are a couple of films like that he could be getting into that have more of a serious tone. But neck and neck with that, upcoming on IMDb here, just going to read it out to you. Moana, San Andreas 2.
Oh my God. San Andreas 2.
Don't forget about any Fast and Furious film. Spoilers,
Yeah,
he's coming
back. He's back.
Hi, Dwayne. And last but not least, don't forget about Monster Jam. So, again, do you really...
What?
Do you? Yes.
Say more about that.
Oh, that will be Eric.
Please.
Eric will be Eric loves Monster Jam, so
I
he will be
fucking
there.
hate
He'll be
you.
there opening night.
I hate you.
So.
So yeah, no, that is happening. So yeah, look forward to that. So again, I just said try to give him some credit, and then I read like 4, again, just garbage ass movies that he's going to be a part of. Except for Fast and the Furious for Phil, but everyone else thinks it's garbage.
Shit, dude, I love that.
I love those. God,
So
I marathoned
good.
all of those in like a month a couple years ago. They're
I remember
so dumb. I
a
love
couple
them.
years ago, I think it was Fast 9, which is my least favorite. Fast 9 was really bad. But I saw it in theaters because they also played a Jurassic World Dominion like trailer before it. But I saw it and I brought a friend who doesn't normally see these Fast and Furious movies. And I can't remember what happened in the movie. It was Josh, by the way, Eric. And at one point, he just looks at me, he goes, Phil, I fucking hate you so much right now. And,
Trying to explain that
yeah.
they go to space at some point, someone was like, "You're a liar," and I was like,
Like,
"No, you gotta watch these."
Yeah, Ludacris and Tyrese.
Yeah.
They went to Chris Bridges, Tyrese. Yeah, they went to space. Oh man, can't wait for that to come out in 2028 because they're so far behind on that movie. Anyway, Eric, let's bring in some other action.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Someone
go
with
into
more
it, guys.
range, which is the wheel.
Yeah, the wheel. Yeah, which I am now realizing looks a lot larger at this point in the episode because
Once we've done 2 stories, there's usually only 2 people left.
Yeah. Weird. Let's go ahead and jump into it. And we're going to count down. We're going to go 3, 2, 1.
Spin that wheel. That one was really bad. Why are we going so slow?
I know.
Oh, choppy.
Every time you need a metronome.
Whoa, what the fuck? Is
Oh, there
it
you
lag?
go.
Oh,
It lagged
yeah, the
so
wheel's slow
hard.
too. Oh, it's
Was it
me.
lagging? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right, Kate.
it knew I was talking
are
trash.
up. Yeah. What did we miss in February 2025? What you got?
Oh gosh. So I had a couple of things. One of them is not really new. It's just people still being mad about it. I guess the one that I have one that's very short and stupid. Do we do a section that's like runners up at the end of this?
Yeah, we did.
Like a rapid
did
fire
make the cut.
something.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Yeah.
Then I'll talk about that one later. So I wanted to talk about Chapel Rowan's Grammy acceptance speech and the effect that it's actually had. So in her I'm trying to find my tabs. I got too many tabs open on my computer. There it is. In her acceptance speech for, what was it? Was it Best Album?
Best New Artist?
That was it. So she won Best New Artist in the 2025 Grammys. And specifically in her acceptance speech, she brought up the conversation about, musicians and artists getting a living wage in healthcare, especially for newer artists, and especially. I know as, someone in their late 30s who has grown up seeing a lot of, artists and then learning after the fact, oh no, this person was horribly taken advantage of or did not make money for, most of their career and stuff. It's something that I feel like more people are aware of, but it's also something that I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, but, we're aware of it and we fixed it. So, she actually, took that platform and pointed out that it's something that the healthcare system needs help anyways, but especially in the arts, it's something that is not really a given. It's not, a 9 to 5 that has benefits. So using that platform to highlight that change needs to happen within the industry. Immediately, some people were like, oh, you just sort of pushing back. I know there was one specific columnist who was just like, oh, well, you should, maybe put your money where your mouth is and like actually do something. And she's like, I have done something, like I am donating money. But I think last week, Universal Music Group actually started a partnership with the Mental Health Alliance to actually specifically raise money for mental health awareness for musicians within the industry. Granted, it's one record label right now. It's, just mental health. It's, not really, it's not the whole thing, but it's absolutely a start. And the fact that it's happening within less than a month, it's exciting to see that, changes are actually happening. And it's not like, well, next year when we, we'll get around to whatever. It's like, it's nice to see that at least, and especially one of the larger record labels is actually making that change, that hopefully it's, a larger record label making that change and putting that value back into their artists is something that smaller record labels will see and say, okay, well, one, this is sustainable. We could afford to do this because, we're smaller, but we don't have all of the artists that Universal has. But also just seeing that it is something that is, powerful and valuable and benefits everyone who is, working for them. So it was something that I was really excited to see. Like I love her music. I like her a lot. But it's, seeing that platform being used and then an actual direct effect happening because of it. So yeah, it was something I was really excited to see this month.
Yeah, I don't really listen to Chapel Roan outside of the hits. But in terms of just, again, she stands on business. Like she goes out there, she represents herself. She's really part of this kind of like this new wave where, again, I'm not necessarily the demographic, but we're talking about Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Doechii, Olivia Rodrigo. Like, we're seeing these artists come up. And it's a really good point that you brought up there, Kate, because one of my favorite artists is JoJo. And she didn't have control of her music for years. So now she's back on the come up, which has been really great. So, yeah, to see that direct change immediately happen, it is fantastic. Eric, I know you've definitely jumped on the music train as far as Chapel Roan, but also, again, just her as a person, always rooting for her. I feel like she is kind of like the person that Swifties think Taylor Swift is, as far as what she does. Chapel Roan's, again, out here standing on business.
Yeah, no, she's great. Her album is great. I highly recommend giving it a listen. If you like the hits, you're going to like the album. It's really pretty straightforward. But, the thing about Chapel Roan is that her story is really relevant because, she got signed when she was 17. She's like 27. It's been like a decade before she really made it big. So, she struggled to find a job. When she's talking about not having health care, that is something she specifically went through. So it's not like, if a Taylor Swift said this and she's had a decade of success, you'd be like, why would you just be saying this now? Like, Chapel Roan had her first opportunity to say it and said it with her chest. So, again, great for her. I'm glad she stood on business with some of the donations and calling out the person who put in that column for the Hollywood Reporter. That was really funny. But again, she's not afraid to tackle some of those bigger conversations. And, it's just a shame that right now it looks like it's a single artist. I'd love to see more of a group or more of a effort from the industry and artists from the industry to kind of band together, because these things are happening across the board, with things like AI and film and in gaming. There are strikes being built around that. Nothing is different in the music industry as far as some of the faults and some of the weaknesses within the industry, and people get taken advantage of all the time. There are so many artists that don't get this big break. So I think it's just really, really cool to see. And will something happen? That is absolutely the question. But money typically talks, and the music industry makes a ton of money.
Yeah, Dylan, what do you think about this? Are you diving into any of Chapel Roan's music, or just a fan of her
Oh yeah, she's great. She is
Yeah.
fantastic. So I tend to listen to more podcasts than music, but she was one of the artists that I listened to last year because, like, how could you not? Honestly, but I do remember, like, it's been years at this point, but like finding out sort of that like realization probably in like my early 20s of just kind of like, oh, like most bands that I'm going to see are like not making money off of like ticket sales or anything. They're making money off of merch. They don't have healthcare. They don't have, like, it's a struggle. And like for every, you know, Taylor Swift or whoever out there that's a billionaire now that, you know, if she gets sick, she can afford the best healthcare. There's a bunch of other people, like so many other artists out there that are, you know, barely scraping by. They can be, you know, a huge artist for like 30 years and not be able to like pay for stuff, you know, not really have, you know, I think it's easy to think like when we like an artist that, oh, well, they must, you know, that's their job. They must be doing well because I know them, you know, and that's just not the case. And it's so I think it's great to be using the voice. I think it's good that at least as of now, it doesn't seem like she got Colin Kaepernicked, you know, where it's just kind of like, how dare you speak about something, you know, you're just here to entertain me, sort of thing. So I like, there definitely are those voices, but I mean, it's Chappell Roan. Like, those voices are way less loud about her than about someone like Colin Kaepernick. But there's also sort of that, I think, like, it's nice to see something happening, you know, and just kind of hoping that like maybe this is a sign that like these music labels and stuff are realizing like, hey, like, we're not gonna have artists that come, you know, like if I'm an artist and signing on to UMG doesn't get me healthcare, doesn't get me, you know, control over my, like, they're just gonna take all the profits from my ticket sales and streaming and whatever, then I'm gonna be like, well, why don't I just be an indie artist and release my stuff on SoundCloud, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So I think they've got to change, and I'm hoping that this is like the first steps of seeing some of that change. So
Yeah, it's like watching Kesha now like launch her own record label and put out some fucking bangers on it and holding her own against, you know, established artists who have been around as long as her with these major labels, but, you know, her branching out on her own after literal decades of, you know, financial and other abuse at the hands of the industry, and saying, no, I can still do what I'm here to do and do it my way and play it, you know, play this game a better way, and being able to hold her own. And it's just, I don't know, like, it's an exciting era in music to see. Like, I was just talking to one of my friends who, you know, is about my age, and, you know, in the 90s it was just like, oh my god, Britney Spears is crazy and like Kesha's whatever, and now I'm just like, I owe all of these women an apology, and I hope they're doing great. I hope they're having a great day. So
Yeah. Eli, what do you think? I know you have a very diverse music palette. So, you know, what do you think about this? Hopefully this turn into more, you know, artist empowerment that we're seeing. And also, you know, they're speaking up a lot more in terms of other issues as well.
I do like saying, I was Chappell Roan's like one of my hipster picks. I listened to Hot to Go when it came out, like when she wasn't popping off. I'm like, yeah, this is really good. And then I blinked, and out of nowhere, she's this global phenomenon. I'm like, hell yeah. So, yeah, no, I love Chappell Roan. And I just love seeing like artists in mass. It doesn't matter what media is standing up for themselves, because they are the impetus of the industry. They are the focal point. And just knowing the history of just the exploitation in the entertainment industry just makes the fight even more worth it. And so, like you said, Phil, I like you mentioned all the other young women specifically in the entertainment industry, in the music industry, standing up and calling out, you know, bullshit practices and stuff. It's such an inspiring thing. Just seeing, just again, Roan and Carpenter and Doechii and just all these young women in the entertainment industry putting their foot down and saying, like, we demand like our value. Yeah, no, it's very inspiring. I like that she took the lead on this, and also like, you know, Chapel Roan is just so ingrained, not just like in the culture too, with like the way social media is now. She seems to be really tapped in, so the message can spread even more. She's not just yelling, you know, from the rooftops and nobody's hearing her. It's actually making an impact, like Kate said. So no, I think, I mean, Chapel Roan, she's making great music. She's making, you know, donating to great causes, causing great movements. I think she's on a roll, and I keep rooting for her and all the artists in any media that's like fighting for their fair share.
Yeah, for sure. Another artist that I think of is Lil Russell. He's a hip hop artist, and I know he at one point had like conversations about signing with a label, but he also wanted to be able to release music whenever he wanted to, and they told him no. So he was like, well, why would I do that? Why would I want to why would you be allowed to like filter my music? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, hopefully we continue to see some more of this snowball and make things better. So yeah, shout out to Chapel Roan. Great story, Kate. Definitely love that. But Eric, now we're down to 2.
This is so jarring because they're both
later in the
names.
Yeah.
I was like, is there a different name?
They're down to 2, but there's 6 slides.
You also couldn't just put Eli.
I didn't even realize. Honestly, I didn't even realize that I wrote a line.
Crazy. All right, guys. All right, we're pros at this now, so I'm gonna count it down.
You gotta go
and then
faster.
We're gonna do this.
You've gotta
thing.
go faster. Come on.
3, 2, 1.
Spin that
wheel.
A little bit.
You did that on purpose.
wasn't maybe a little bit. Wasn't as good.
Oh.
Oh,
Right.
damn. I genuinely did not
We
know
all
who that
lean
was.
into saying,
Who?
well, he's not here. Eli,
Yeah,
do you
well,
want to take
Eli,
it
would you like to go?
Sure, I will go next. Yeah, so my story is something pretty near and dear to me. It's a bit of home state pride I wanted to talk about, and that is the loss of a legend of Bob Uecker. You know, spring training has started up down in Florida. You know, Brewers baseball is back, and that just I've always looked forward to baseball season because that's the start of spring. That's really, you know, the season's changing doesn't matter. It's when baseball starts is when winter's over and spring can finally begin. And it's just such an odd feeling not having Bob Uecker there anymore, because he's been there. As many people talk about, he was the voice of Wisconsin summers for just decades and decades. And, you know, watching the playoff loss last year and seeing how much it impacted the players, I don't think a lot of people realized that Bob Uecker was like the impetus for that. And so when he passed away, you know, it hit really hard just because a lot of people in Wisconsin, like you said, the voice of the summer, he was there. Baseball seasons are long, and he was just there that whole time. And it's almost like part of your household. So him not being there anymore, it's a very strange feeling, you know, with baseball coming around and just knowing that Ueck is not going to be there. But I feel with such pride as I see not just like people in Wisconsin celebrating Uecker. I see Uecker like tributes everywhere in media. I wasn't even anticipating like national news, you know, because he was in many sports films. The weird like sports or film forums I go on, they were paying tribute to him. Just niche subreddits were quoting him, and I'm just like, it's filled with just this Wisconsin pride in me of just like, because he was ours. He was born in Wisconsin, born in Milwaukee specifically, had his career in Milwaukee, stayed there to announce games, and yeah, I just love what a positive impact he had on the game and a positive representation for my home state. And yeah, I just want to take this moment to just you know, with everything going on just like in the world news, there's something about baseball coming back that just fills me with hope. And then I hope that hope can extend to you, even if you're not into baseball, having that knowledge that spring is coming and things will get brighter and better. Yeah, I know a lot of people I know hate baseball, and I totally get it. It's not the most exciting sport, but for me, it's a lot of things outside of baseball that make me love it. Like I said, it's just the warmer weather, the start of something new. Yeah, and so I wanted to take this moment to just pay tribute to Uke and just, you know, shout out baseball. Spring training is just the games don't matter, but man, it's just a nice warm feeling of just like knowing that warmer times are on the horizon.
Yeah, I love that you brought this up because there's nobody in my friend group that I can talk to Bob Uecker about. So I now, not that I'm I'm not obviously not a Brewers fan or anything like that, but baseball was the first sport that I ever played. Like I was terrible at it, and that's why I quit. But baseball was my first love, and in no other sport than baseball is a play-by-play guy more important than baseball. And Bob Uecker was the voice for so many people, and baseball was really the only sport when I was younger that I would listen to on the radio because those play-by-play guys are so good. And Bob Uecker was definitely one of those guys. You're talking about 50 years with one team, which is insane. The only other one that I can kind of relate that to is who was the guy for the Cubs, Eli, that was there for forever. Why am I blank? Harry Carey.
Harry.
Yep. So that's the other name that I think of. But baseball specifically, I think, always really lends itself to radio, which is why these guys are so important. So I love that you brought this up. Eric, I know you're not a big baseball fan, but even if it's not when we're talking about Bob Uecker, is there a voice on the radio? You know, back when we used to listen to the radio, is there a voice that really, resonated with you from your childhood, whether it be TV or radio?
No, I don't know that there's necessarily a voice that I would say resonated. There's obviously some iconic ones in sports that you always can go back to. I know for me, baseball has never been a big thing because I think it's like one of the most boring sports to watch on TV. However, I'd like to transition that into something positive. I have a wonderful memory. The one time I did get to go to see the Yankees in their stadium in New York. It was the only time I had ever gone to a Major League Baseball game. Like, I've seen the Jacksonville team a couple times in my past decade of life. But when I was really young, I got to see the Yankees play live, and I thought it was extremely exhilarating. I thought it was a lot of fun. The environment, there's nothing like it. And I think that is something that baseball has had like a timelessness around it. It has lost it over the years, and it is losing some of that mass appeal, but there is something really special about going to a baseball game, and I definitely at least experienced that once, and I do cherish that. But yeah, baseball as a whole hasn't always been my bag, and especially over the years, it's definitely lost its mass appeal.
Yeah, I'm planning on going to Atlanta this summer with some friends for a Braves game. Very excited. The way they got me there a couple years ago was there was a Tori Kelly concert right afterwards. So I was like, oh, there's a baseball game before this Tori Kelly concert. We can go to that. Dylan, what about you? Are you familiar with Bob Uecker's work? But also, same question. Any voices that resonate with you from when you were younger?
So I'm sure I've heard Bob Uecker because, like Eli mentioned, he's been in a ton of like baseball movies, just kind of as the announcer. Here, because of the way that they syndicate baseball, most of the people that I hear down here in Mississippi are Braves casters, but I can definitely relate to like sometimes when it's like, oh, this Braves game weirdly is on like Apple TV or whatever, and it's like you have to listen to Apple TV's casters. It's like, who are these people? What are they doing? I don't like listening to them. Where are my normal guys, So I definitely can relate to that. I do love baseball. I do agree that I think being in stadium is definitely like the way to experience it if you can. Like, there's just something about the atmosphere of being there. But I also enjoy watching it on TV because it is one of those things that, like, the rules make sense. They're pretty easy. There's not all this complicated nonsense. Like, you can kind of just sit down and be like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on here. And it's one of those that's like, there's a lot of you don't have to be focused and paying attention constantly. It's kind of like there's a lot of just like, oh, we're going to bring in a new pitcher and he's just going to like throw a few practice pitches. You can go to the bathroom, you can go get a drink, you can do whatever. And like, the game's not going to have like moved on and you're going to be lost. Like, you can kind of like do other things while it's going on.
Well, one thing I love about baseball is that because there's so many games, it's a lot less serious than other sports, and that makes it more fun. Like you're watching the game, and then it'll cut to like somebody feeding their like golden retriever a hot dog, and the announcers are just giggling, and it's just, you don't get that sort of just goofy fun energy in a lot of other sports.
There's no dog nights at NFL games.
Yeah, there's no dog nights. There's no bobblehead nights. There's no
Yeah.
just silly gimmick nights. It just feels so like corporate and serious a lot of times for me. And baseball just has so much room for just, players pulling pranks on each other, in the dugout, and doing goofy shit all the time. And yeah, when I tell people like, people are like, oh, there's just so many games, they don't matter. I'm like, yeah, that's the fun of it. Like, your team gets blown out. You just like, all right, whatever, I'll go on to the next one.
Yeah.
But you have fun. That's the whole point.
For sure. Kate, what about you? You go to any baseball games? Again, same question. Any voices that resonate with you? And also, were you familiar with Bob Uecker?
I was a little familiar. I think after he died, I listened to a couple clips, and I was like, I have heard this guy. Like, I'm not huge on baseball and like listening to it. For me, baseball is interesting because I grew up in Durham, North Carolina, so we have the Durham Bulls, and that's a big deal. That I found out later, like the stadium that they filmed Bull Durham is still there.
That's where Michael Jordan played.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the most memorable thing that happened there. But
there's like a statue of Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan played here.
Exactly. It's like, what about Kevin Costner? No, we don't talk about him. Don't worry about it. The house from Bull Durham actually recently went on sale, and it was a huge fucking deal, which was exciting. But no, I definitely like grew up going to games. It was a big like school functions and like scouts and whatever things. Like going to baseball games was just one of the things that you just kind of did. And I love Eli's analogy of it, kind of being the seasons changing and everything. Like it is definitely, and seasons changing as an outdoor thing. Like I know for us, like I live very close to a NC State's campus now, and they're driving by, and there were a lot of the March Madness banners already up, and I was like, for me that's the seasons changing, because I'm in the middle of all of the schools that get mad at each other, that's the seasons changing for me. But I don't know, like it is something that, like, the idea of being outside, going to a baseball game, and you don't go to a baseball game to watch baseball, you go to a baseball game to go to a baseball game. But it's one of the things that when my husband moved to close to Durham with me, that was one of the first things that we did. I was like, well, we got to go to a Bulls game. I always used to do this, and it was super cute and really fun. But yeah, just that little nostalgia of it.
Baseball means summer. Like when there's baseball on, it is summertime. So, and if there was a professional team closer to us, I would definitely go more often. Tampa, unfortunately, is too far, and Atlanta's like 6 hours. So and I'm not going to Miami under any circumstances whatsoever. Actually, I do have a name, Eli, that is similar, and it's Mark Followell, who is the play-by-play guy for the local station for the Dallas Mavericks. So when I had a year of NBA TV, getting to hear him over those terrible national guys is great. Like, they just put so much passion into it. Like you don't get that from most play-by-play guys when it comes to any sport. So shout out to those local guys that are putting in a lot of work. For sure.
Oh, go ahead, Dylan.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I was gonna say I don't know the names of my guys, but the sports announcers that I can think of growing up, it's we live like an hour away from New Orleans, so we had like Saints sportscasters, and there was a period of time where it was just like dudes with like a super thick Cajun accent that were the announcers, which like down here, like I understood, but it was one of those where it's like just imagining anyone else that's not familiar with like Cajuns hearing the announcing of a football game. It's like, yeah, I don't know how you're gonna follow any of this. But
the away team's just super confused.
Yeah. So,
who it would be actually for us also, Eric, is Brian Sexton from the Jaguars. Remember when he left, and now there's Frank Frangie is a nice guy, but he is just not Brian Sexton.
Nice.
He's a nice guy, but he is not Brian Sexton. So, yeah.
What,
oh, you had something else to add. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one more thing before we move on. Bob Uecker is so funny too. Like, if you need a laugh, just watch his interviews. I've never seen just a more just quick-witted, dry humor. Like, I just pulled up this quote to give you an idea. He said, "I knew my career was over. In 1965, my baseball card came out with no picture." You just watch interviews,
like,
even months before he passed away at 90, suffering from lung cancer, he was still like off the cuff, just coming up with classics. So
It's like the equivalent of being in Madden or 2K and having no photo. You just a blank space. Just a blank space.
There's this famous picture. He was on a team with this pitcher who was, I can't think of the name right now, but he was as legendary for like how serious he was. And if you zoom in on the picture, he's holding the pitcher's hand, like they're holding hands and like crossing their legs. And the pitcher, who's like never smiles, was smiling, and that everybody's like, this is. If you want to know, Bob, his playing career, not of distinction, but this was the best part of his career, getting this guy to laugh.
Love that. Eric didn't know who the Savannah Bananas so I need to take him
What?
to a.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
So
It's crazy to me every time that's the reaction.
I'm telling you, man,
What?
you cannot get
Savannah
tickets to the Savannah
Bananas.
Bananas.
No, it's
honestly, we should scrap Dragon
It's like a
Con.
lottery.
Yeah, we should scrap Dragon Con and go to a Savannah Bananas game.
That's
Like,
a
not
bucket
even
list
kidding.
item. That's
I
bucket
I
list.
literally
They were
didn't
here
know
in
there was, like-
Jacksonville. Tickets sold out so fast.
Oh
You
my
could
God.
not.
I didn't know there
Yeah.
was a Harlem Globetrotters version for baseball,
Yeah, they're
but
amazing.
I now know that it's a thing. I
Yeah.
got it.
Incredible.
Get it now.
So
You guys are probably wondering at home, why is the wheel back?
this is about that
there's only
time.
one
Everyone's
person
like,
Yeah, again, back to my original statement. Could we just use logic here? We could, but not on this show. We're going to count down one last time, and we're going to say, spin that
red
wheel.
Eric, blue Eric, or yellow
One last
Eric.
time.
Yeah.
We are. So which Eric are we going to get?
It's picking a Pokemon game.
Oh,
Who's your starter, man?
look at that.
All right, I'm going to count it down, and then we're going to do it. 3, 2, 1.
Spin that wheel.
All right, who's it going to be?
Hmm.
We got to start taking bets.
Why was I
Oh.
invested in that? Why was I?
It's Pikachu, Eric.
He lies down there betting on this. He's like, damn it! Come on. Shit! Throws his phone to the ground.
Pokemon Yellow, the best one, Phil?
Pokemon Yellow? I don't know. I love Silver. Soul Silver is my
tough.
jam. So,
It's tough.
all right, Yellow Eric. What did we miss in
All right.
February?
Yes. So I picked a broad, appealing story that I think everyone can get a little invested into as far as the news that just recently came out. In fact, this news was just a couple days ago. Amazon MGM Studios has entered into an agreement with longtime producers and co-owners of the James Bond franchise for Amazon to take creative control over James Bond moving forward. So if you're not familiar, Amazon has held distribution rights to the James Bond franchise since 2022, when it acquired MGM for over $8 billion, and its catalog of films, shows, including James Bond himself. Now, of course, this is an international franchise known in almost every part of the world, with so many fans of the franchise over generations. One of the big concerns coming out of this, obviously, other than another big corporation getting involved with an iconic character and the rights there, is that Amazon is thinking about trying to turn this into a universe, which is what every big company wants to do these days, a la Marvel, Star Wars. So I'm curious, are they going to move quickly to cast a big name and start pumping out some films? We've heard names be thrown out, from Aaron Taylor Johnson to Idris Elba. The current fan pick is Henry Cavill at this moment, based off of a poll that Jeff Bezos put out. Crazy sentence to say. Are they going to throw millions of dollars and turn this into a television show like some of their other properties? Reacher, Jack Ryan, Lord of the Rings. Those have all had mixed results, and in my perception, none of those franchises feel smaller than they do now. So, my question to all of you guys, and Phil, I'll throw it to you first. What is your personal experience, if any, with 007? And how do you feel about the news of another iconic character, again, falling into that major corporation's lap and leaving the future uncertain for another big franchise?
I haven't seen any James Bond movies. This is actually a film that we have talked about, a series we've talked about doing for What Did I Miss? My only familiarity is the GoldenEye video game. That's the only thing that I know. We actually did do a Thursday thought about this a couple years ago, Eric, about who should be the new James Bond. And my answer back then was Henry Golding. I really like Henry Golding. He's from Crazy Rich Asians. I think he has the charisma to play the role. Physicality, I don't know how physical James Bond is, so I know it's a lot of gadgets, a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, also I know of when Henry Cavill. Oh no, that's Mission Impossible. I was like, when did Henry Cavill reload his arms? That's Mission Impossible.
Also another thing we need to watch.
Also something I need to watch. As far as the universe, stupid. Don't need that. Like, what are we gonna do? Just get different versions of 007, which I know there are, obviously, but we don't need that whatsoever. But there are so many good choices. Aaron Taylor Johnson would be great. I know people have been throwing out, like Dev Patel has also been a guy that people have also thrown out for this role, but I don't know, a universe, like 007 seems to work as it is, so why mess with that formula? So the fact that Amazon and obviously the company hitting streaming so hard now has control of this is concerning. So Kate, what about you? What's your experience with 007, and do you have any selections as to who should play the next James Bond?
I think mostly I just have very spicy opinions about the corporations owning intellectual property and how they should knock it the fuck off. That's the biggest, I guess, highlight of my opinions. I've definitely seen some Bond movies. I'm not familiar enough with them to like really remember them. I always feel bad. I play Framed. It's like one of like the daily like match games where like they show you screenshots for things. It's like 6 screenshots from a movie and you have to guess the title of the movie. I can tell within 2 frames if it's a James Bond movie. I don't know the title of that movie. I never know. I have no idea. That's just what it is. I know that the discussion of having Idris Elba as Bond happened I feel like honestly 10 years ago. I feel like we've always been talking about having Idris Elba, and the conversation was like, oh, we don't really want, and I'm like, okay, just say you don't want him to be black. That's fine. That's okay. I think as far as that, I don't know if the trend has been to cast James Bond as someone who is already more famous, or if the trend has been to pull someone who's a little bit less known into the role. I didn't know as much about Daniel Craig. I know for a fact until he became James Bond. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, I loved him in Bullet Train. He was so fucking good in that. I loved that movie.
He was incredible in that.
He's so good. I don't think Henry Cavill needs to be James Bond. Henry Cavill has so much else going on and is too famous to be James Bond. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if it is something that was opened up to a series or a prequel or whatever the Amazon wants to do to, wring as much cash as they can out of it, I think that the option then, the more interesting choice is to cast more unknown actors. It's to not just use the star power of it. You have the background characters sort of in the Bond universe. I think, starting there or, making it a sort of like, getting a little bit more into the universe, because I don't know much about the universe. Like, does the previous Bond like train the next one? Is there like a Batman Beyond situation that we could have happening? I hate that that's
do they go into a cave and do some sort of Bond
I love
training?
hearing all of these theories of what it could be. It's just like,
do they put white smoke from the pillar and that indicates a new Bond has been chosen?
Exactly. And case in point, I've seen some of the movies, but there's been enough space in between them. I don't remember what happens. I think I think Daniel Craig dies, ? Spoilers? I'm not sure if he does die. Oh, okay, thank you, Dylan. Dylan's nodding. I guess he does die at the end of it, so I don't know if that means, like, I don't know who the vice Bond is. Like, I don't know how the hierarchy goes. I think that would be interesting, but that's also not a, that's not a full, 5-season series like Amazon is going to make it. I don't think the intellectual property is, I don't think the well is deep enough for what Amazon wants to do with it. Unless they are, like, I think the sort of, like, through narrative has been interesting. And I don't think they're going to keep it interesting if they start splintering it off like that.
Dylan, I'll throw it to you because I want to know, first off, I want to say Mr. and Mrs. Smith works as a TV show. The Amazon TV show was fantastic. So,
well, that's Donald Glover, though. So,
right.
Like...
First off, yeah. Donald Glover. Let's just make Donald Glover James Bond. So,
ooh,
but
okay.
Does 007, does James Bond, in your opinion, does that work as a TV show? Because to me, James Bond is a cinematic character, and I don't think he should come to TV.
I think James Bond works best as a movie character that is, like, has an arc with 3 or 4 movies, and then, like, that character, that actor's time as James Bond is done, and we pick a new one. Like, I think that's how it works best. Because I think if you try to take some of this, like, intrigue and stuff and drag it out over seasons worth, like 4 seasons of a TV show, I don't think you've got enough there. Now, to be fair, I mean, like, maybe they could. I have watched Reacher and enjoyed Reacher. So, like, that's pretty fun. So it's, but I've also, like, I've watched all of the James Bond movies and enjoyed them. And so, like, it's not a, like, canon is weird in the universe, it's like, are they connected? Are they, different? At times it's been like, they've kind of remade some of the movies with, like, different actors. So, like, I don't know. There's just a lot there, but like I said, I think the best thing is just, get in there, make a movie. Obviously, I don't think that's what Amazon wants to do, because they, want some reason why you subscribe for, months while they trickle out the releases versus, like, use a free weekend to watch a single movie or whatever. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with it, because I haven't watched, like, a ton of Amazon stuff, because honestly, it's like if I'm looking for something to watch, they're usually, like, my 4th or 5th, like, go-to, because I forget that I have access to Amazon. So I'm not, like, going there a ton. But the shows that I have watched on Amazon that I have enjoyed, because there are a lot that I've tried on Amazon and not enjoyed, but the ones that I have enjoyed have been sort of their more, like, thriller-esque, spy-esque shows. So, like, they do seem to be able to make that kind of interesting. But I agree with what Kate was saying of, like, don't make that James Bond. Like, make that focus on, like, MI6 or someone else in MI6, or, like, Q, or, somebody else who's in that universe. Also, like, who's not James Bond, doing other stuff. Kind of like Andor is a really great Star Wars show, but it's not focused on, like, literally anybody from, like, main Star Wars. It's kind of just like, and here are some other guys doing Rebel stuff over here, And I think that's the way to make it successful. In terms of, like, who is going to be James Bond, it doesn't shock me. I assume this Jeff Bezos poll was on Twitter, so since it's mostly Nazis over there now, it doesn't shock me that they didn't want a black man to be James Bond. But I would love to see, like, all of those people that were tossed out there, I think could make great James Bonds. I think.
Oh my God, Elon is going to cast himself as
Yeah,
James Bond.
yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's going to suggest it at the very least. At the very least.
That was
So-
one of those moments where Phil mentioned watching the video is just the maniacal laughter on mute.
Yeah,
of
no one's
everybody.
going to know that everyone just lost their
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but it
was
is.
Oh my God.
I do think that Henry Cavill got the vote just because it's like attractive British man, you know? Like I think there's a lot of other great actors out there that could be James Bond, but
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
want Henry Cavill to finish making whatever Warhammer thing he's making.
He's signed up for Warhammer, which is going to be a thing. Now he did audition and lose out on the role to Daniel Craig because he was too young. So there is some precedent to that. But I will throw in for context I kind of was thinking of an analogy to help Cade and others that have no idea what this is, Phil as well. It's very much, everybody understands the concept of Doctor Who, and there's always a new doctor, but the stories are kind of different. It's still in the same universe, but not really, but kinda. That's James Bond, except they never do the doctor
Are
transition.
you
and
telling
there's
me
no
James Bond is
interaction.
a Time Lord?
Well,
Yes.
no, because
Oh, okay.
yes and no.
Thank you, Dylan. No further questions.
Because he's not really interacting with the other versions of James Bond. However, it does look like that could be a possibility now. So I don't know. It lends itself to.
Is there
James
any
Bond
scene
being a
in any of the
Time Lord.
James Bonds where the new James Bond and the old James Bond run into each other at a coffee shop in Paris and just give themselves a little nod?
No.
I don't want to watch them.
Maybe.
Okay, well,
I don't actually know for sure.
well,
Roger Moore could have been in the background of one of these Daniel Craig movies. You don't know. You don't
I
know.
promise you
Sean
they have
Connery.
Sean Connery's face scans right now, ready to go. Ready to go. Eli, where do you stand in all of this? Because again, a lot of interesting theories and opinions so far.
Yeah, I was a fan of 007 when I was younger. Similar to Kate, I like watched a bunch of James Bond. I had no idea what movies like you quizzed me on. I would have no idea, but I knew I just liked James Bond as the aesthetic. I just love that sort of campy-ish spy Cold War thriller. I was such a sucker for that. And then I sort of fell off when Daniel Craig the Daniel Craig version came around, and it was like grittier and more grounded and like darker, and I was like, I like the campy. I like the more lighthearted, fun spy versus this troubled, I guess that gritty and dark version of a spy thriller. So I'm curious going ahead what version Amazon is going to go with. Are they going to lean more into the over the top sort of spy action that's more of just like this, like more of a genre piece like the earlier Bond, or are they gonna go more with the typical like spy thriller like you mentioned, like the Reachers and the what is the Krasinski
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
I almost said Jack Reacher. Yeah.
There's Jack Reacher, right? Aren't they both
Oh
named
my
Jack?
God.
Yeah.
I only
Jack-
know
guys,
either of
it's
those because
Jack.
my dad reads these books. They are
Yeah.
such dad
Yeah.
books, and that's it. That's
No,
all I
I
know about them.
No,
Specifically
James-
write that down and read it because I knew I was gonna fuck it up. I'm there.
Amazon releases Jack Bond.
I'm pretty sure at 40, a Jack Reacher book shows up on the desk of every dad in the country. So, Eric, pretty soon we're going to wake up and there's just going
I'm about to
be
get my copy.
a copy of Jack Reacher.
Well-
and we're going to open it and be like, it's not bad.
Yeah, but if we're talking about the actors I'm most interested in, I am very much interested in what, like you mentioned, like the Idris Elbas, the Henry Goldings, the Dev Patels, because I would be so much more interested in a James Bond of a different ethnicity because that represents modern UK. You know what I mean? I feel like James Bond is very much a cultural icon, and I'm so curious what Amazon will do as how they view British culture, or at least the writers and producers, or at least how they feel British like masculinity should be depicted. I feel like that's almost like a mirror to what like Great Britain masculinity is seeing itself as in the 2020s, if that makes sense. Like Like, are they going to go with the earlier James Bond, who is pretty faultless? He's charming, he's womanizing, he drinks, he's cool. Or are you going to go with the modern Daniel Craig, who is really just troubled and, filled with just all these troubled, emotions and is damaged? And I'm so curious just who they pick as James Bond in the tone. I think will really reflect sort of the culture of not just like the UK culture, but masculinity within the UK culture.
Yeah, so I love the idea of, someone of a different ethnicity playing James Bond, such as
Aziz Ansari.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Anybody thought of Dwayne The Rock Johnson yet?
Don't
Anybody
let
else
him.
was-
Don't let him get word
did
of
that come
this.
into anybody else's mind? No, it's just me. I paused and I felt silent. So, okay.
Honestly, Dave
Nope,
Bautista.
just me.
If we give it to Dave,
And Dave slimmed down too.
yeah,
So I mean, he
looks
wouldn't
great,
be like.
man.
It
That's the
wouldn't
thing.
be like a weird.
The other thing
transition.
that Dwayne just refuses to do is get smaller. Like Dave looks fantastic, and The Rock is still. Well, he still has to wear a bodysuit for
He's a
Maui, which is strange. But
large human being.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have well, first off, I have a hot take because I think Eric will agree with me. My favorite spy movie is the 2008 Get Smart with Steve Carell, Anne Hathaway, and The Rock is in that movie. And you know what? He's not bad.
Not bad.
He's not bad. Not the main character, but he is also not
comedy,
bad.
so-
Also comedic character.
I'll throw out another one if we want to transition to that really quick before we end this. If there's any spy movies that you're like ashamed of saying or you think are like underrated, mine is I Spy with Owen Wilson and Eddie Murphy.
Oh my god, I forgot about that
I
movie.
love that movie. I love it. It's
I saw
so
that in
funny.
theaters.
It is peak Eddie Murphy still, and I don't think people respect it. And Owen Wilson's hilarious.
What?
Does anybody have a spy film like that?
Yeah, it actually stars Dave Bautista. I cannot think of the name of it, but
Is it
he's
the one-
like,
Oh, it's with the girl.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not great, but
No, I went in with like zero expectations. I thought it was going to be really bad, but I was
My Spy.
My Spy
yeah,
Yeah, close enough.
I
with the
got
little girl.
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but no, I went in with absolute like negative expectations, and if we're judging on that scale, it blew me out of the water with how much I enjoyed it. So that would be my guilty one.
Have you seen My Spy 2? Because I have not seen the sequel.
I did not know there was a sequel.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, blew his mind there.
Yeah.
Kate, what about you?
I really loved Spy with Melissa McCarthy. I
okay, yeah.
love that movie. It is Jason Statham chewing the scenery. It is.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's Rose Byrne being real fucking weird. It's just
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law, but it's
Yeah.
it's one of the more grounded Melissa McCarthy comedy roles. Like, it's not she's just a full like trash human. Like, she's so good in it. I love her. It's very fun. It's a really fun, weird movie.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it like honestly like way more interesting than I thought it was gonna be. I really enjoyed that one.
I totally forgot about Johnny English. I really loved Johnny English, Mr.
Johnny
Bean.
English. Oh my god.
Yeah, I loved that movie. God, I gotta watch that again here. You know, it's a really bad spy movie. Argyle that came out in 2024.
If only someone could have
And
told you that.
there's also one with Chris Evans and Ana de Armas that came out on Apple TV, and it is fucking terrible. Ghosted is called Ghosted, and it is
Not very good.
awful. How did
Dylan-
two hot people have such bad chemistry? I don't.
Dylan, what about you? Do you have one in mind?
So first off, because we mentioned Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the first one that popped in my head by word association was Central Intelligence with him and Chris Rock.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
But I don't know that I would call that good.
No.
The ones I tended to gravitate towards were more like the Bourne Identity, like those, like the Bourne movies, the Kingsman movies,
Yeah,
like
Kingsman.
those kind of things. So
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Matthew Vaughn
it's
could be
unfortunate,
trusted.
Phil. No
Spy
one brought
Kids.
up. Oh, Spy Kids. There we
Yeah,
go.
Spy Kids.
1 and 2, I believe. Yeah, right. It doesn't get bad until the 3D,
3D.
one.
Oh yeah, that is not bad. That is a that's a cinematic
Okay.
work
All
of
right
art.
now. All right now.
It's cinema.
It's cinema. This is pure cinema. Phil, I am disappointed that no one brought up 2019 Spies in Disguise, where Will Smith is turned
I'm
into
not
a
disappointed
pigeon.
in that whatsoever. I'm glad nobody brought that
I
up.
forgot that movie existed.
Isn't that
fully.
Tom
Tom Holland? Yeah.
Holland? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was my story. If it makes anybody feel better, I don't think it's gonna. One of the more recent MGM Studios movies was Red One, so
Oh,
not
yeah,
great.
Oh my god.
But then they did have other films like Nickel Boys, My Old Ass last year.
My Old Ass
Blink
is so
Twice.
good.
So I mean, they've had
So
some
good.
decent
Ari
movies.
Plaza.
The sequel to My Spy. So I guess there we go. They did they do the first My Spy?
Yeah, it
Now-
released on Amazon, didn't it?
That's crazy.
My Spy.
So yeah, maybe Eli will
Yeah,
get.
you and me will have a movie night. We'll watch I Spy
We'll get
too.
children involved in the James Bond franchise. There'll be a little.
Are we
they'll
gonna
do the
young James Bond babies?
Tom.
Yeah.
It's
they'll-
surprise.
they'll
It's
do the
Tom
whole
Holland.
thing.
You
but I
joke,
will-
but there is like canonically like James Bond's like a book series of James Bond's nephew that they could do, like a young
The
James
young,
Bond.
the young
thing.
Bonds, like the
That
young
though.
Avengers,
So,
the young
yeah.
Bonds.
Oh, you know they're gonna.
They love doing that with those iconic characters. There's absolutely one with
What
like Indiana
if-
Jones as well.
What if
Like,
James
he has, like, a
Bond
family
was
member.
younger?
No, I just a legion of like scrawny white guy like James Bond.
Yep.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet
Just a
as
bunch of
James
James
Bond.
Bond. Oh no!
I'm assembling a
Oh
team.
no!
We're getting it. The one thing I will say, though, is for anybody out there, including those here that have not watched a James Bond film, if you're only going to watch one, I would recommend Skyfall. Skyfall is, I think, a movie you can go into without any prior knowledge. Casino Royale comes behind it, but if you don't really know about the character, you're kind of already at a disadvantage. I think even with that disadvantage, Skyfall is probably top 100 movies I've ever seen. Maybe I could probably say 50. I really want to watch it a second time to solidify this take. And if we do a late to the party on this podcast, that will be the movie I make Phil watch. So that is my personal recommendation. If you ever want to kind of get what the vibe is, Daniel Craig, while it is a little more gritty to Eli's point, it's a movie that has stuck with me since I've seen it in theaters.
I'll vouch for that. If any cinema snobs are listening, Roger Deakins does the cinematography. Oh my God, drop dead gorgeous.
Very good.
Filmmaking in that one.
Yeah, I think James Mangold directed that one. So yeah, a lot of really good people involved with that particular project. But yeah, that was my story, Phil, and I think now we have a game to play.
Are we not doing? Didn't make the cut.
Oh my
Last-
God!
I do have one question.
I saw it was an hour 30.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we must be at game time, and I didn't
Yeah.
realize.
I do have one question.
No,
for
baby, it's
Dylan.
co-host energy.
Oh my
I
God!
do have one question for Dylan because you said you've watched Reacher. Since I saw last year Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which I very much enjoyed, I have been casting Alan Richardson as Batman.
Oh, he's great. I love Alan
He
Richardson.
is. Do you think he'd be a good Bruce Wayne / Batman?
I think he could do it.
Yeah,
I think
he is so
especially like if they were really trying to hit the animated series Bruce
Oh,
Wayne.
for sure,
I
the
definitely
bigger
think
one.
he could do
Yeah.
it because he is
He's huge.
built like a brick wall. Like,
Fucking massive, dude. So, yeah. So cool.
yeah.
Anyway,
like for those of you that haven't seen Reacher, he basically solves every problem by just being
punching.
like, I'm huge.
And
I'm
I've-
bigger than this problem.
and I've never watched Reacher, but the villain in the new season of Reacher is just a big Reacher, a bigger Reacher. And I'm like, I gotta watch. I gotta fucking watch this.
Guys, there's a Reacher
Yeah.
arms race.
Yeah, like I can't remember exactly, but because it's been a while since I haven't watched the newest season, but like I'm pretty sure there was a point in one of the early seasons where like a car was in his way and he just like picks it up and moves it, and
Man,
that
I
was
gotta,
how he
I gotta
solved the
watch this
problem.
fucking show, man.
So-
I gotta watch it.
I will say
the show.
my dad has, like I said, he's read these books. He refused to watch the Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise because he was like, too tiny, doesn't work. doesn't fit with the books. But now I need to see if he's seen the show, because now it sounds like it's a more book accurate. That he's
he's
a
a
brick
tank.
wall
Most
now.
middle-aged white men have seen it, and they just don't talk about it. But they're like, yeah, I've seen Reacher.
They get the book and it auto downloads onto their Fire Stick.
Yeah, like, oh,
They just
what
have
is-
every
what's,
episode ready
what
to
is
go.
this?
On mobile.
And they don't know how to
They're at
delete
the
it, so
airport.
they just watch it.
They're on the plane,
Yeah.
like, man, I didn't download anything before
It
this.
just
Whoa.
pops up on.
All 3 seasons of Reacher with Jack Ryan.
Oh, thank God.
That's great. 'cause I forgot
Oh,
my books at
fantastic!
home.
Yeah, that's good. I don't have.
Is it like a hooded figure comes to your door and you're just like, oh my god, is this death? And you pull back the hood and it's just
It's Alan Richardson. It's Alan Richardson.
it is time, and he hands
Yeah.
you the whole book series.
You get beat up in
Fantastic.
an alleyway.
Wait,
and
I
you
was gonna
wake
read
up
the
and it's
fantasy
like,
series. Too
something
late.
you
This
left
is
me
your
on.
life.
Too late, nerd. Here's Tom
Here you
Clancy.
I was gonna read the Dark Tower. Sorry, you dummy.
Nope.
He just
Too late
punches
for
you.
that. Yeah. Too late for that, dork. Here's Splinter Cell.
Shoved you in a locker.
Oh my god.
There's not a locker in my house.
Where'd this come from?
We've lost all sense of the plot here. We've lost. This is the height of what this episode was gonna be right here. Oh, fucking James Bond, dude! I can't believe it. That not on my bingo
Oh
card.
boy.
All right.
Eric, you want to take control of didn't make the cuts, please?
Didn't make the cut. I will go last because I have our Discord roundup, and I will rapid
God.
fire those. And again, we can talk as long as we want or as short as we want. So if none of this applies to anything you know, you do not have to feel like you have to give an opinion. However, if you had any stories that didn't make the cut, feel free to throw them in here now. Kate, you had a short one, you said, so we'll start with you. What was any story or stories that didn't make the cut?
So I had 2 very short ones that I kind of just wanted to mention. The quote unquote live action trailer for How to Train Your Dragon finally came out. It's the same fucking movie. None of us need to see this movie. It's why? It's shot for shot. There's no point. It's not live action. They didn't even get a real dragon. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? Move on. It's not live action. Move on with your lives. The second one that I saw is that apparently Taylor Lautner of Twilight fame is leaning in and doing a werewolf show. He's doing a scripted series called Taylor Lautner Werewolf Hunter, and basically he's playing himself as a werewolf hunter. It is going to be directed by the people who produced and directed such wacky horror movies as the new Scream and Scream 6, Abigail, and Ready or Not. So I'm kind of ready for this like weird horror comedy vibe in this.
That could work.
Fucking loved Abigail, man. I loved
dude,
Abigail.
I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to. I loved Ready or Not, though. I love a good.
Ready or Not's one I want to see.
I love a good for her horror movie. I'm about it. They're so good. But yeah, I think this has the potential to be a very weird, kind of what we do in the shadows. Like the vibe seems kind of like that for me. Just like very self-aware horror comedy. I don't know. I just think it's very funny. Also as a girly of the Twilight zeitgeist. I'm fucking here for it. Team Jacob, baby, let's go.
Yeah, seems very meta, which I think will work very well there. Eli, Dylan, any comments on either of those stories you want to throw in here?
I love just
Okay, were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? You have to tell me.
that is just such an insane story with the Taylor Lautner, but I just all these like live action animated movies and just the unnecessariness of them. Like just why?
I will say, with real quick, stupid story with the live action ones. One of my friends said that she worked with this absolute himbo of a man years ago, and when they did the live action Beauty and the Beast, he was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they got a real beast for this." And she was like, I didn't want to tell him. I didn't know what else to
Beg
say.
pardon?
So we just, yes, yeah. So they just went, and then
Bless his
changed
heart.
the conversation.
Bless
to
his
get-
heart.
Bless his heart.
How'd they get those lions to talk, man? That is crazy. That's so good. That's so good.
They put peanut butter in their mouths. It's like the horse. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Mr. Ed.
Totally fine. Dylan, anything to add?
No, I just echoing what they've already said. at a certain point, it's like an animated movie was probably animated because they couldn't do it in real life, and so like just live action and ifying it. I mean, it's still going to be a better movie than Aragon was, like a better dragon movie than Aragon was, but like,
It's not a high bar.
I mean, it's basically just like, hey, what if instead of the human characters being animated, they were just people? And it's like, I mean, I don't really feel like it's kind of like PlayStation remastering something. It's like, yeah, I've seen this already. Like, I don't need to play this again. So, you know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
The Taylor Lautner story was one of mine. That was the other one I was thinking about doing. So I love it. Lean into the fun. What's his name? Robert Pattinson is Batman. He is about to be in a Bong Joon-ho movie, and Taylor Lautner is like fucking werewolf hunter. So this might be his turn into his Pattinson arc. I'm very excited for him because I'm definitely gonna check that out. Live action How to Train Your Dragon. Don't care. Only dragons I want to see, Eric, are the ones at Epic Universe in 2029 when we get to go.
Yeah, and when we get to go, which you learned about like the last episode, which was crazy.
We'll be
Phil,
there.
Since you're already kind of here, already talking, what do you got?
My other one was that Simu Liu says he's working on getting a Sleeping Dogs film adaptation, which I think could be really cool. Big Simu Liu fan, and that game, Eric, is another game we have kind of circled as far as the game room where it happens, because it is underappreciated, and that is a game that deserves a remaster, not some of these that Sony is cranking out. But if they get the tone right, and if Simu Liu is passionate about the game, then I think it's in good hands. But that was my other one, other than the Taylor Lautner one.
Okay, Dylan, any thoughts there as our gaming guru, and then Kate, Eli, feel free to chime in after if you have anything.
I don't think I've played Sleeping Dogs. It's another one that's like I constantly see as like, oh, I should play this one because it's what is it? It's a. Isn't it a famous director movie? Like kind of somehow tied to it. Like Hard Boiled is what the name that it keeps coming up for me.
Yeah, I'll look that up.
But it seems like a cool setting, like a very stylistic like type of movie. John Woo, that's who I'm thinking of. A John Woo type of story. And I think that could be a lot of fun to see. You know, probably has a chance to be a better crime drama than the Scorsese film starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson, in my opinion, you know? So that's where I'll leave that.
Yeah, I'll throw in here, it's part of our Discord roundup, so I'll save us the time because it's relevant. There's also a Sifu movie in the works at Netflix. So it's going to be produced by the director of the John Wick franchise. So that's another game that very much lends itself to film if it's done correctly.
Also starring Simu Liu. He's the new Asian guy.
Might as well. Just double dip. Pick one. Which one gets out first? You got it. Or think about this.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
In a Maui bodysuit.
In the Maui bodysuit.
And Simu Liu gets to be James Bond. It's going to be fun.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah, trade-off. But Kate, Eli, anything you guys want to add in? Otherwise, we'll jump to our next one.
I mean, I'm a sucker. I like Simu Liu. I love martial arts, crime dramas. I'm a big John Woo fan, so if this and Sifu, Sleeping Dogs and Sifu, I am totally on board for what if these get actualized. I'll excitedly see them.
Yeah. There we go. Eli, you want to take it away? Any didn't make the cut stories that you had?
Yeah, I have another sports one. I've kind of given up on the NBA. I like the quality of the
Eli,
games.
I'll kill you. I
was watching a game and it was like 114 to 86, and I just was like, this sucks. And so I have diverted all my attention to getting into hockey, getting into the NHL. And man, I got ESPN Plus so I can watch hockey games, and I've really grown to love the game. It is so fun to watch. There's something kind of the opposite with baseball, where it's on like grass and it's green. This is on ice, so it feels so wintry, perfect for the winter season. And just the speed of play, the skills that are being done, and just the intensity. There's no NBA players just jacking up 3-pointers and just like casually running up and down the court. These guys are flying and drilling each other and hitting slap shots that go up to 90 miles an hour. It's so fun. And then the Four Nations face-off, which was the replacement for the All-Star game. Holy shit, that was awesome. Like, just the quality of play, all the context around going on. If you watch the first Canada-US game, there were 3 fights in the first 8 minutes. It's just insane. So I've really grown to love hockey. I've picked the Red Wings as my team because I know Phil. Phil's doing the fist bump, but yeah, I'm on the Red Wings bandwagon. Dylan Larkin is my king, and I'm just happy I've gotten into hockey. It's so fun. My other story is movie related, but I just wanted to shout out one of my favorite franchises across all media, Wallace and Gromit. They got some BAFTA love, and I just wanted to shout them out. Vengeance Most Foul was wonderful. My heart is just glowing with all the praise the movie's gotten. Just Wallace and Gromit was one of the first media franchises I loved as a kid growing up, and just seeing all the love and affection with the latest movie, seeing all the reception, the BAFTA awards, and hopefully an Academy Award. We'll see, but I don't know. Just the Wallace and Gromit love has just made me all warm and fuzzy.
Phil, I think what's funny about both of those stories, the first one, you thought you were going to have to talk about Luca getting traded, which again, sorry.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just the joy of the Wallace and Gromit story. Like, you and me will be really pissed if The Wild Robot doesn't win the Oscar,
Which it won't,
for best animated picture. And Eli's just like any Wallace and Gromit fan, was like, we're just really glad to be here.
We're just having a great time.
This is their first film in 16 years. I am so happy right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're eating over here.
Yeah, Wallace and Gromit fans, we're in our best lives right now.
Flow is a good movie. It is not better than... It's probably not better than Wallace and Gromit, and it's definitely not better than The Wild Robot. So, yeah. But to piggyback on what Eli was saying, hockey is the best sport to watch live. It's the best sport to watch in person. Even if you have a local AA or independent team, it is so much fun. We have one here in Jacksonville. I haven't been in a while, but I definitely want to go. It is a lot of fun. It's indoors, like Eli mentioned, so during the summer it's nice and cool. And that is definitely... I wish the Tampa Bay Lightning were closer to me. I could probably see myself getting really invested in them, or the Florida Panthers. Obviously, they've had a really great run as of late too. So, but the Four Nations was incredible. Shout out to Canada for booing the national anthem. We are with you. So it was really great. So yeah, the NBA right now is a mess, and honestly, I do not know what they can do to fix it. So,
yep. Dylan, Kate, anything you guys want to add?
Well, I'll shout out. I don't watch the NBA, but you could fix it by watching the WNBA. That's probably a way better thing you could do. So, if you want to get your basketball, but you don't want to watch the NBA, there's a better version of it called the WNBA. So I'll throw that out there. But then also, I love hockey. I grew up with hockey, which may be shocking because I'm from Mississippi, but we have a local AA team down here in town, basically. So I grew up going to those games all the time. So that was a lot of fun. I played hockey as a kid. So I'm a fan of hockey. I don't watch it a ton as much on TV or whatever anymore, but I was following the recent games because those were pretty cool to see. And also I was yes, support for the things that are going on in these games. So I'll shout that out, and then also, as someone who grew up with Wallace and Gromit, I'm also pumped that they have, because wasn't there that thing where they ran out of the clay to do it? Wasn't that a thing? And
there was a full-blown panic. People were just like, there was like a 5-alarm, like code 5 alarm in the UK of just like, what are we gonna do? And Aardman is like, guys, we're fine. We'll figure it out. But yeah, that just shows how much like the world and like Great Britain specifically, Bristol specifically, that is such like Wallace and Gromit is just like their thing. So
yeah, all of my friends in the UK are so fucking hype with the Wallace and Gromit movie. It was very funny watching like all of my friends from like other fandoms go, there's a new fucking Wallace and Gromit, and I'm like, oh, I did not. It's like sleeper agents of a fandom. It's just like, you guys. I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. I love practical animation. I think it's delightful. It's so cute. I have not watched this new one yet, but it looks very, very cute, and I like that it's getting, you know, awards and attention. I am very close to the Carolina Hurricanes, which is very fun as far as hockey. My husband used to play hockey when he was younger, and then we went to a game. We had terrible nosebleed seats. I was like, we'll go. It'll be fun. The Hurricanes scored in the first 3 seconds of the game. It was buck wild, and I looked at him and I was like, does this always happen? He goes, no, this is a big deal. And it's so much fun to watch. It's something where like it's literally the opposite of baseball. Something is always happening. It's cold, and no one's really nice to each other. It's real fun.
And you can still get ice cream at hockey games.
Exactly, so. You can still get ice cream, and especially, you know, in North Carolina, we're a bunch of jerks. Like, we're just kind of assholes about it. But it's very fun being a fan of a good local team that are kind of dicks about it. It's a little fun. So yeah.
I have a friend that's trying to go to every NHL arena. And I think
Hell
she's
yeah.
about 10 to 15 through, so she's doing pretty good. So
that's fun.
Yeah, I'll leave it at this here, Eric, because this is to bring it back to video games. I understand why like Blitz isn't a thing anymore because of the violence and the steroids. I understand why MLB sluggers and hits and all that stuff is not a thing anymore. But NHL hits is ripe for a revival. That game needs to come back, and I miss it. So there's my annual NHL hits plea to deaf ears.
Yeah. All right, let me go ahead and jump into the Discord roundup, which will wrap up mine. Phil, there's a lot, so I'm gonna actually throw these if you want them. I threw them in the chat that we're using to record. That's just a convenience if you want it. But here's my rundown. If something sounds interesting at the end, throw your thoughts. So in our Discord, we have a pop culture news channel where we talk about everything going on, and it's very much the Discord version of this episode. So a couple of the things that came through that channel were the reactions to the trailers to both the Fantastic Four, first steps, I believe, first new steps, something like that. I forgot what that it was already. Jurassic World Rebirth as well was a huge thing for all of us talking about. There was also a limited time Subway Oreo footlong cookie that was released. So if you missed out on that, there you go. The Rooster Teeth founder buys the brand after the closure, giving it new life. If you know anything about Rooster Teeth, that is very much a deep cut for all of us, especially us 90s babies. Matt Damon has officially been announced and casted as Odysseus for the Odyssey movie that Christopher Nolan is doing, and it will be releasing in theaters July 17th, 2026. I am extremely excited. Marvel Rivals Seattle team was laid off, with the company claiming that this was for organizational reasons. If you know anything about Marvel Rivals, it's one of the biggest games that have come out in some time, especially in the live service space for a game not named Fortnite. Then shortly after, it was reported that the founder of the company that runs it almost canceled Marvel Rivals because it didn't use original IP. So the cost of licensing Marvel IP almost caused the game not to be made at all, which is crazy to look back in hindsight. A new Avatar: The Last Airbender sequel is happening at Nickelodeon. Avatar 7 Havens is going to be consisting of 26 half-hour episodes over 2 seasons. We also did get confirmation from a Marvel TV exec that Moon Knight is coming back, but not for a season 2. James Gunn confirmed a Teen Titans movie is in the works. And the news that dropped today as of recording, Balatro, the hit game that was nominated for Game of the Year last year, is now on Game Pass. This comes after the really good news that they also successfully appealed having a Peggy 18 rating over simulated gambling being the big deterrent for that. So a lot of good things happening for Balatro, and all of those stories, guys, will wrap up the Discord roundup. So Phil, I'll throw it to you first. Any of these stories, if you want to run down all of them like you usually do, is fine. What did you want to talk about?
Fantastic Four, sure. Rebirth, boo. Oreo footlong cookie, fuck yeah. Rooster Teeth founder buys after closure, amazing. Matt Damon is Odysseus, okay. Marvel Rivals team laid off, that sucks. Almost didn't happen, crazy. Avatar, Seven Havens, need to finish the original, very much enjoyed it. Moon Knight, we're never going to get a resolution to his fourth personality. Teen Titans movie, but with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Balatro on Game Pass, still don't want to play it.
Crazy behavior. Dylan, any of those stories that you want to chime in on?
I mean, I'll just shout out like the Rooster Teeth. Like, I was a big fan of Rooster Teeth back in the day. I didn't watch as much of this stuff in the more recent years, but I still listen to like some of the podcasts, specifically like Fuckface and like some of those that had some of the personalities that I liked on them.
Wait, okay, sorry. What Fuckface?
Okay, I'm so glad. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Eli. We were gonna just let it go.
I knew Rooster Teeth were like red versus blue and the achievement on
Yeah.
Dylan,
Yep.
You're fine. I'm
Yep.
familiar.
Yes. So
Fuckface is not the alliteration show that I'm familiar
No.
with. It's Camp
So-
Camp.
yeah. So Fuckface is hosted by Jeff Ramsey, who plays Griff on Red vs. Blue, and it's got Gavin Free, who is the British guy at Rooster Teeth, and their friend Andrew. It started off as like a sort of sports collectibles talk show. It's got its name because there is a baseball card. I forget what player it is, but like they took the picture and on the bottom of his bat is written the word fuckface, and they had to like recall all of them. So it got its name based on that. And also like the running joke is like, we can't advertise this because no brand wants to be like part of like advertise on a
I
show
can buy
called
this card on
Fuckface.
eBay for $80. It's a PSA 8.
Yeah. So it's become kind of like they just get together and hang out and like chat, and it's a lot of fun. It reminds me a lot of like old Rooster Teeth, and like I still enjoyed some of their newer stuff, but it was one of those where it's just like the people that I enjoyed watching became like faded more into the background. And so the guy who bought it is Bernie Burns, who has a show right now called It's Morning Somewhere that I also listen to like on a daily. It's a daily like half-hour show that he releases. And it's a lot of fun. It's, you know, he was one of him and Jeff and Gavin and like those people were ones that I enjoyed listening to. And so I've been following more of their stuff. So it's cool to see him coming back and at least buying the brand after Warner Brothers basically did what Warner Brothers does to all things. So I'll shout that out. I'm excited for like seeing what he does, even if what he does is basically just having the brand. So, but I think he's, you know, smart about it and will probably fund more thing. Like, I don't see it coming back in the same way that it was, but I think it's more of like an umbrella of, you know, kind of like College Humor almost, maybe, where it's like, you know, College Humor kind of got run into the ground and then Sam Reich got it, and it is now like over Dimension 20 and all of these other shows. I can see it becoming something like that. So
Yeah, and Kate, anything you want to add, or any of the stories from their Discord roundup you wanna chime in on?
Yeah, that was Dylan. That was actually exactly the point that I was going to make as far as like, you know, the Bernie buying Rooster Teeth after this. Like, it really does feel like, you know, Sam Reich rescuing Dropout and then sort of, you know, picking the sort of wreckage of College Humor back up from what that is and just making it In my opinion, the best streaming service that's available right now. Think I think the whole Subway footlong cookies are an abomination. They are an affront towards God. The Jurassic World trailer, why just watch Jurassic Park? It's the same movie. It's the exact same movie. I don't understand. I'm bummed about Moon Knight. I should just stop watching TV shows and getting attached to them because they all get canceled. I haven't enjoyed a TV show since I think 2019 that was not purposely one season or got canceled. I should just start watching anime because I won't get my feelings hurt. Those are my thoughts and feelings about all of this.
Yeah, watch more anime.
Eric's ears
I'm
perked
on
up
board.
when he heard anime.
I was like, what?
He wasn't
Let's
listening
do
to
that.
anything you said up until you said anime. He hasn't heard a thing
That's
this
okay.
entire episode
That's fine.
since the word anime was
I've
spoken.
been zoned out since the first spin that week. It's been a blur. It's been a blur. I have no
Activated
clue
like
what
the
happened.
Winter Soldier over there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Eli, any of those stories you want to chime in on?
Shout out Rooster Teeth. I watched them in the past. I would love to see what they do in the future. Let's see. Avatar. I'm a big Avatar fan. I love Last Airbender. I love Korra. I'm very interested. I want to go back to that world. I just love that setting so much. I want to see how it will look in the future. That was one of my favorite things about Korra, was seeing the advancement of time and sort of the world not just staying static but moving forward. And I want to see almost, is it going to be like a modern, like, are they going to have like modern tech that we have now, or like automobiles and like airplanes and things? I would love to see that. So I'm very excited for Avatar.
Yeah. Don't get your hopes too up. I think they've said that it's like Aang and the gang. It's set in between Korra and like.
God damn it!
So yeah, sorry.
It is actually okay. So it's actually after Korra. So it is a series set in the world.
Wait, what?
In a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm.
What did I see?
A young Earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior.
Oh dang! I didn't read anything else. I just saw a new series. I'm like, ooh, cool.
Yeah. So it's gonna basically be like, Korra fucked this all up for everybody. What's gonna happen now? Which is like the worst possible outcome for fans of Legend of Korra, from my understanding. And I've never watched the show.
I like Korra. I'm not a diehard fan. I feel bad for diehard Korra fans. They just keep taking L's.
Every time.
No, I am excited. I like Avatar. Gonna be interested. I am very interested in this Teen Titans movie because I am so unbelievably hyped for the James Gunn Superman that I love Superman, and that vibe from that trailer sold me immediately. And I'm so curious how him being essentially the showrunner for the cinematic universe, what the Teen Titans are going to look like in that vision. And if he keeps it colorful and fun, I am 100% on board.
Yeah. DC can absolutely take over in this genre. I mean, there's an opportunity here. Whether or
Wide
not
open.
they execute
it's more
that,
open than it's ever been.
yeah. Especially, I mean, even with the superhero fatigue, which is real. But that is our Discord roundup, and now is our final stage of What Did I Miss, where we jump into a game, and Phil has a new game that we have no clue what it is. We have no idea. So this is going to be
Pull up
really
the fucking
exciting.
Kahoot website. Just pull up Kahoot.
All right, apparently it's Cahoots.
Hold
like
on,
fun.
let me pull this up here. Is this large enough for everybody? Can everybody see? Has everybody played Kahoot before? Everybody no? Okay, Eli, no. Eric, you've been
I
in a
don't
corporate
think so.
setting. No? Okay.
When I
I've
heard
done a
Cahoots, I was
Kahoot
like,
before.
Oh,
what?
you never done Kahoot?
Are you going to send the link through Teams? Like what?
Has everybody downloaded Teams? Eric, if you could just get into this breakout room with me really quick. I need to.
I don't want to go to the breakout room. Don't put me in a breakout room.
So you can either go to this website, or I believe you can scan the QR code. Would anyone like me to expand the QR code? Look at that!
Kahoot.
Oh my gosh, this is already better than Factile.
Kahoot.it.
And then there's your code, Eric. There's not as many characters to choose from here. I apologize,
What the fuck, dude?
but you can put
Nickname.
a hat on your character if you'd like. I don't know if you could. I don't think you could do that in Factile.
All right. Wait, I don't want to be a frog.
You can change it.
Oh, there's a lot of options. I want to be Earth.
Yeah, we're gonna be here for a
I want
minute.
to be Earth.
Cowboy Earth.
No, Winter Earth.
Okay, Winter Earth. Okay, that works too.
Actually, I'm gonna run to the bathroom quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Look at this. Look at this Elvis fish.
Is that the thing from Shape of Water?
I wasn't 100% sure. Oh, he's got an eye patch.
All right, so for those of you listening while we're getting set up here, if you've never played Kahoot, it is typically used in like teaching or corporate settings. And basically, everybody playing here today will have a certain amount of time to answer the question on the board. Now, the more, I guess I have to re-explain this when Eli gets back. I forgot he was gone.
No, he's on his own. He's got to learn somehow.
I forgot that he had stepped away. But yeah, if you have not been watching the episode thus far, this is definitely a good place to transition to the YouTube page because there are visual elements to this part for you guys to check out.
I figured out what it was. I got by some stupid AI bullshit article that only read that it was like
Avatar.
that it read that it was a new Avatar: The Last Airbender thing, and then made up the rest of it because it's like The Last Airbender. That obviously means that it's a continuation of Aang's story, and I'm like, so. Yeah,
That's why I had to jump in. I was like, oh no.
yeah, I did.
No.
I did find that story, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I think it might have even been like Google's like AI summaries. So
Oh yeah, that's that.
No,
That's risky.
my rabbit.
AI is ruining everything.
Yeah,
that's you know.
Where Phil looks at like terrariums on YouTube, I'll look up. I'll be in like
Somebody?
My phone turned off. It's back.
I'll be in like endless TikToks of like franchises I know have no business being a part of or listening to. So yeah, I've been a part of the Avatar discourse for like a few days on how people feel about the fact that basically the Avatar doesn't stand for what it did the last two shows, and that it's probably Korra's fault. So that's getting to learn that has been good.
Eli, I started explaining the rules, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do this again." So let me stop. So it's very similar. It's all trivia. It's all pop culture trivia. They're just different styles of games. Some of them are multiple choice. Some of them are you have to pick something out of a picture. Some of them you have to type in your answer. That'll be. It'll show up on your phone. Now, the question itself is only going to be up here on the screen. So on your phones is where you will answer. So, but the question will not be on there. So you will have to pay attention to that. But otherwise, it's pretty self-explanatory. You get the quicker you answer, the more points you get. So there are 20 questions, and if somebody's doing really well, you can pull away pretty quickly. We use this at my current job in training, and I am terrible at it. So I was pretty excited to put one together myself. And yeah, but it's you guys will figure it out as you go. The first question is purposely very easy to kind of give you guys an idea of what the layout will look like on your phone. So with that being said, are you guys ready to Kahoot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, let's do it. Look at that. Oh, I can't see you guys anymore. Can you see the screen fine?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's
Yeah,
full
you don't need to
screen.
see us.
Yeah. All right. First question is a quiz. What is the name of Thor's hammer?
Does spelling count? Oh.
No, it's multiple choice.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right. Who picked Jonathan?
You put the Paul Rudd image. I thought it was a trick. Yes. Are you kidding me? Why wouldn't you put a picture of his hammer if I wasn't supposed to select Jonathan? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you for real?
Oh crap! I'm sharing the wrong screen.
Don't
Don't look at my Amazon cart.
Phil, for real though? Phil, for real though. Tell me this is a joke.
No. There is a clip of the Ant-Man characters, the
Yes.
Ant-Man actors and actresses being asked, "What is the name of Thor's hammer?" And Paul Rudd goes, "Jonathan." I'll share it with everybody in the chat later. So, well, Eric is
That's the
behind.
biggest L I've ever taken in these games.
Don't worry, Eric. There are some questions.
I want to go back to Jeopardy.
Nope. Not gonna do that. All right. Next question. This is a puzzle. You have to put them in order. Place these Studio Ghibli films in release date order.
Oh, okay.
So for those of you listening, we have Ponyo, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, and Princess Mononoke. We need them in release date order.
Oh, I think I messed that up. Oh,
There we go. All right. Who got it right? It doesn't tell me who got it right.
I
Who
did
got
not
it
get
wrong?
it right.
I got it wrong.
I did too. Yeah.
All right. Let's hide
Fist
that.
bump.
Okay.
I had Princess Mononoke and My Neighbor Totoro reversed. So
All right. There we go. Let's check out the scoreboard. Eric is okay. There will be some opportunities for you to catch up. Don't worry.
Will there?
no,
We'll see.
you're screwed.
Next question. A slider. You'll see a sliding scale on your phone. How many feet tall is MonsterVerse Godzilla?
No, what?
You do get points for being close, so you don't have to be exact.
without going over? Is it Price is
Yeah,
Right
it's between
rules?
200 and 500. I believe it
Okay.
should say, or it says like 203 to 499 or something like that. So.
Oh, I just said my screen says solid effort.
Oh, mine said
Oh.
correct. Excuse me?
Oh,
There's
I got-
no way.
I got almost
hold
there.
on, hold
There's
on.
no way.
Who picked 393?
I did.
That's the exact amount. What?
Let's fucking go.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
What, like it's hard? Oh my god, give me a harder question.
Who got 405? Who did that?
That was me.
Who said that? Because
No.
that was you. Okay, so you got points for that.
I feel like this was a trick question because his size varies wildly
That's true.
based on the shot.
That
so
is true. That is true.
Well, how can you explain Kate getting it right exactly?
I mean,
She's a mind reader. I don't know.
I'm a witch. I'm so sorry.
All right. Next one here. Oh, so let's go with the scoreboard again. All right, Kate has taken the lead.
Scoreboard.
All right, we have a quiz. Which of these animated Disney films did not win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars? Did not win. For those of you listening, we have WALL-E, Soul,
Oh,
Big Hero 6, and Wreck-It Ralph.
I don't think Nope, I didn't.
I didn't get it.
Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah. Who got Wreck-It Ralph right?
I chose Wreck-It Ralph because I think that it's underappreciated, and I love
agree.
that movie.
I think the year
So-
Wreck-It Ralph lost, Brave won,
Uh,
which is pretty annoying.
so it
Yeah.
kind of they were suffering from their own success, basically. So
Yeah.
you know,
I figured Soul would get some people because that
It
was like the
did.
weird year for it was a COVID year. So,
Yeah.
all right, next question.
Hey, so that comeback. At what point does that happen?
wait,
At
you've
what
got to
point does that
get
happen?
at least one right for that to happen, Eric.
I'm
so.
trying.
Eric,
I can't.
you picked the brain and everything. You came in so strong.
I know, and he's got a little sweater too, keeping him
Yeah, a
warm.
little-
I guess a little brain heat there.
You just have a fever. That's what that is.
Yeah, you're actually sick. All right, next question. Pin the answer. Which one of these Fast and Furious characters is named Cypher?
What? God. Oh, I don't know. Oh no.
Got it.
Oh, this is awful.
Yeah, Kate's got this one.
I don't
Who the
know.
fuck looks like a cipher? this jackass looks like a cipher. I'm gonna give it.
Two of you picked.
Is that the
That's
jackass?
the main
Was that the
character
jackass?
from Tokyo Drift.
That's why he looked familiar. Okay.
Oh,
No, it's
Charlie
Dreadlock
Brown.
Charlie's Theron.
Yep. Yeah, cultural
my God, she
appropriation, Charlie's. Oh God, she is a hacker. She's in.
All I could think of was the guy from The Matrix. That's all. I was like,
yeah.
he's not here.
I literally just I scrolled around and whoever I landed on I picked
Oh,
because I
did
had
you
no
pick
idea.
Han?
I
Yeah,
had
who
no
picked
idea.
on?
Phil, you know how usually when we both make the games, we put in like a freebie for the other person. Is my freebie coming up at any point?
It was Majol.
I gave
it
you
was
Ghibli.
Thor's hammer.
No, it couldn't have been Ghibli. Oh no, it was supposed to be Jonathan. I cannot get over that.
Oh God. Okay. Kate is establishing a lead here. Next question.
He's running away with it.
Type the answer. What song are they singing in this scene from Step Brothers? Which song are they singing?
Oh, I know this. Hold on.
Damn it. Oh, I don't.
Oh shit.
How will it know that I got it right?
I typed in the answer and I gave a couple alternates in terms to take a
I'm blanking. Oh, shit.
7 seconds. You can, yeah, okay, there we go. One more.
I'm giving a bullshit answer.
I-
I know I'm wrong.
I knew this one.
Let's go.
Bohemian. If somebody typed
wait,
out
what?
Bohemian Rhapsody,
I did. I knew it was wrong.
and somebody not. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Did you not get a point for that? Sweet child.
didn't.
Oh,
What did you
wow.
type?
Yeah, we both got it right.
No.
Sweet Child of.
oh yeah, I counted it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I saw.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Man,
Don't stop believing that.
I was so sure that was what I feel like that. My memory is "Don't Stop Believing."
Yeah.
even though that's not.
yeah.
All right. Eric is on the board.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. Another puzzle. Put them in order. Place these Pokemon video games in release date order.
Emily will disown me if I don't know this.
Pokemon video games. We have Pokemon Snap, Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Black and White, and Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. Put them in release date order.
I think that's it. Shit.
Oh, what do you got?
Oh, hey, you Pikachu.
All right,
Oh,
yeah.
that one.
I flipped those
Yeah.
first two. That was it. Gosh.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a newer Pikachu one?
It
On
was.
the
Wait, was
Yeah, I
it
know
going from top
No,
to
that's
bottom?
you're
Wait, what?
thinking. Are
Yeah,
you thinking
PKU
Let's
Pikachu.
Go Pikachu?
Let's Go
I
Pikachu.
think, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
thinking.
Yeah,
the newer
that's what I-
Switch one. No, the
okay.
Hey You
Yeah,
Pikachu
yeah, yeah.
had the
There was the
terrible
one with the
microphone.
microphone.
Yeah.
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 He never listened to you. It was amazing.
All right.
Gosh.
No movement there. Next question. We have another slider. How
Oh,
many
shit.
Land Before Time films are
Oh,
there?
Jesus.
Okay.
This is a large slider.
Yeah, I am.
This
This is unsettling the range. It's not prepared for this.
I'm scared that I don't know.
I'm trying to remember the Jenny Nicholson video I watched.
All right.
Shut the
Who
fuck up.
got it? Somebody
No
did
way.
10. No way. Who did 14?
Yes,
No,
me
man.
and Kate.
That's crazy.
There's actually
That's
no way.
crazy.
If two people got that?
Yeah.
That's insane. You guys are cracked.
Wild. All right. All right. Next one here, we got another quiz. What profession does Monica's boyfriend from Friends, Pete, pursue, eventually resulting in their breakup?
No, I don't know.
So, Friends, shout out to Jean Favreau in his Friends cameo.
Yes, I felt confident about. Oh, thank God.
Ultimate Fighter. All right, Gary. Is that Eric?
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Yep. He.
Yeah, I only remember that because he's in like a
Full cast, full body.
Oh, he is.
He's like, here's my point. And at the end of the episode, he was like, I just have a question for you, Monica. Am I the ultimate fighter?
crazy.
Yeah.
God.
All right, there you go, Eric. All right.
Let's go.
Nice.
600 behind
Coming
Eli.
for you, Eli.
Uh-oh.
There we
Uh-oh.
go. All right,
I
next
will not be in
question.
last.
Whoa.
Another pin answer.
Come for you.
Indicate which member of the Encanto family that can shapeshift.
How the fuck would I remember?
Oh wait, I think I know it.
The shapeshifter in Encanto. Who is it? Eric's favorite film.
Wait, was it?
Ah.
Did I fuck this up?
We one more. There you
I
go.
I like
remember.
when we answer and just
Oh,
know.
damn
We're like,
it.
oh,
All
shit.
right. Two
Oh,
people.
thank God. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Two
Not-
people
yeah.
got it.
Damn it.
Yeah, the little boy, he can speak to animals. That is his power, but
Yes, that's his thing.
I almost picked the cat because I was like, maybe they are shapeshifted in this picture. I don't know.
They did
Eric, there you go, Eric.
Trick question.
Eric is back in it.
Coming, Eli.
Eric.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
God.
No.
I may not win, but I'm
Eli,
burying
take
you.
my hand. I'll save you.
All right, next.
For me.
Is there a final Jeopardy?
No.
Oh,
Just 20
Okay.
questions.
we can't bet at all.
Yeah.
We can't.
I
bet at all?
can
Okay.
make it so that later questions are different point values. So yeah. So I guess
let's bump those up.
No, I can't do
No.
it right now.
Oh.
All right. A puzzle. Put them in order. Please place these films from highest to lowest Rotten Tomatoes score.
Ooh.
Rent, In the Heights, Moulin Rouge, and Chicago.
Highest to lowest.
Highest to lowest Rotten
Okay.
Critic
Tomatoes
or
score. Critic.
critic score?
Yep, critic
Okay.
score.
Okay. Oh. Mm-hmm.
Critic score. Once again, audience, we have Rent, In the Heights, Moulin Rouge, and Chicago.
So for these, we don't get any points for being even close.
No,
you have to get them all right.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's a bummer.
That's what. Yeah.
damn.
That,
Yes.
no.
I was pretty
same.
surprised
In the
to see
Heights
that
is
it has a
high.
94%.
I
Oh
knew,
my god.
And I love In the Heights, and I was like, that's too high.
I knew in the no, I knew In the Heights was the best one. But
Yeah.
I thought Chicago was the lowest. Okay.
Was everybody correct in getting Rent 2005
Oh,
last?
100%.
No, I put In the Heights behind that.
Oh, no.
But I also hate that movie. So
Okay, well, that's your own fault.
bias.
All right,
I
no
love
movement
that
there on the
movie.
board.
I know it's bad.
Oh, yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
All right, next question. We have a type the answer. Which anime won Best Continuing Series at the 2024 Anime
damn
Awards? Which series won the Best Continuing Series at the
Best
2024
Continuing?
Anime Awards?
Wait. Oh no.
Oh
that
wait,
was.
I know.
Shit.
Oh god, how do you spell it?
Hold on.
I hope I spelt it right. Ugh.
I'm gonna go against my gut here because I know what the answer should be, but you're an asshole.
Damn. Nope.
So if I didn't put this, yeah.
Really?
Man,
So for
Wow.
anime,
Wow.
Demon-
Okay.
Demon
It
Slayer
seems
wins-
so obvious now.
Yeah.
No, but Demon Slayer wins so many awards.
Yeah.
I had typed it in, and then I literally was like, "Why would Phil pick this?" Oh, because if I don't pick One Piece, he's gonna shit all over me this whole episode. So no, you don't get to do it. And Eli,
What?
you're done. You're done.
Oh, he's got me.
God.
Damn.
I got you.
It's over. It's so. Dylan, you want to make a pact? Do you want to?
Eli and I are just gonna like type our answers in the chat to each other.
Oh,
All right,
Eric,
next
you have
question.
come to challenge the master.
why are they taking double the time?
All right, next up we have a true or false.
Are they texting
Triceratops
without
was
us?
the first dinosaur cloned for Jurassic Park. True or false? Triceratops was the first dinosaur cloned for Jurassic
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is
got it right.
true.
It seemed too obvious.
Yeah, no, yeah, it seemed too obvious.
yeah.
Kate's
Yeah.
really good at this.
It seemed
Kate?
obvious because it was right to you guys. I'm so sorry.
I'm just,
I was so
Well, I was
mean.
just,
this is the
I was just like,
No, talk your shit, Kate. Talk your shit.
yeah.
All right.
I will say this is the worst feeling when you're playing trivia is like all your like 50-50 guesses are just wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Yep.
defeating.
Yep.
Like statistically,
right.
I should get one of these.
Eventually, I have to
back
get
and
one.
forth and back and forth.
All right, next question here. Question 14 coming up. We got a quiz. Which of these podcasts is currently ranked number 1 on Spotify's TV and film category? We have the Severance podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, Pod Meets World, That Was Us, and How We Made Your Mother.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the fact that you didn't put us on here as just an honorable mention is crazy.
I
Kinda
don't see
disrespectful.
Game of Thrones actually on here, so I don't really
Yeah, I went against
Oh,
my
I,
gut
fi-
there. God
I
damn it.
finally got one right. Oh
You
my
picked Pod
God.
Meets World? Pod Meets World
Yeah, I
was
just
somewhere
know
in the
Pod
30s.
Meets World is, yeah,
Oh,
they're
wow.
fairly popular.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Severance podcast was that popular.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
100%. Yeah.
I think
Alright.
it's just because it's in
Popular
the
right now.
zeitgeist. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna, that was my
I was
guess.
thinking right now, but number one, that's, I mean, good for
I didn't
them.
know How We Made Your Mother was a podcast till today. I might actually take a listen to that because it's got Josh Radnor in it. So I might actually go back and listen to that.
Yeah, that was a tough L. I'm gonna sink down to the bottom. Oh,
Okay, okay.
Dylan left you.
Yeah, he left you behind.
You guys had it bad.
Remember that.
Like,
Remember
Eric,
this
let's
feeling.
team up.
Remember this feeling. All right, let's get to the next question here. We have another slider.
fuck. Why do we?
How
even
much
play?
money did Demon Slayer, the Mugen Train movie, make in worldwide box office earnings? So this is in hundreds of millions, as far as the numbers you're seeing there. How much money did the Mugen Train movie make worldwide in box office earnings?
Can I do this a third time?
This would be
I
insane.
That would be
I don't think
insane.
No,
honestly.
it says almost there.
Damn
It
it.
says almost.
Jesus.
Oh my god, I undershot it. God damn it.
Let's go back.
Whoa! It's sassy. Okay. God.
Damn.
I did
got
5'11". That was it.
Oh my god.
God, I was so fucking close.
I put 559. I definitely thought it was. I knew it was over 5.
Yeah.
I just didn't know it was just
Yeah.
over.
507. I think you'll still. Oh no, you were right outside of it. Yes, at no point.
Yeah.
So. All right, you got an answer streak too. Look at this down here. Look at that fire. Look at that. Look at that little icon.
Yeah.
That's horseshit.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I
All
haven't
right,
even been
true or
answering any
false?
of these right. Oh,
This
no.
character from Ryan the Last Dragon is named Tuk Tuk. True or false?
Which one? Which character?
This one.
Because I'm pretty sure that's Raya on the right there.
You mean the last dragon?
You know, I was like, there's no way that magnificent dragon is named Tuk Tuk. It has to be true. I was like, my gut has been wrong so much.
You mean Aquafina the dragon? No.
Yeah. No, the dragon's name is Sisu.
That's
And
just fucking with me at this point.
unfortunately, voiced
Isn't
by
Tuk Tuk
Aquafina.
whatever? Tuk
He's
Tuk
like-
is whatever is named, whatever is voiced by Alan
The
Tudyk,
little
right?
roly.
Yeah, Tuk Tuk is like
Yeah,
the
the
little,
roly
like the kind of roly-poly character.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli, respectfully, you can't lose to the guy that picked Jonathan in the
I know. It's starting to look like that. I don't know what to tell you.
You're gonna have to step up now.
For those of you listening, Kate has doubled the second place score. Just so you guys know,
Oh, yeah,
she
no,
is in
no,
first
it-
place
Yep.
with well over 8,800.
Oh, no.
With over 8,800.
It has to fall off on like an epic.
There needs to
unheard of
be
level.
yeah, just a.
Unless there will be a final Jeopardy and we don't
There
know
is
it.
I would say I'll just stop playing now, but I'm too competitive and I know I won't.
Yeah.
All right, just a few left. Next question. We have a type the answer. What game is this? What game is this? For those of you listening, we have a picture slowly revealing itself on the screen. Players have to type in their answer. All right. I hope. Is that okay?
I was like, there's one of us got it? Oh no!
As soon as I typed it in, I was like, he better not be like pedantic about this and be like pocket camp.
I was gonna do the same thing, but it ran out of characters, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm fine, okay.
No, I was just gonna. That's why I put just Animal Crossing. So,
Thank
yeah,
God.
you're good. All right, everybody got that one.
It's New Horizons, actually. No,
It wouldn't fit.
I know.
Actually.
ACNHO.
Actually, okay. Next question. We have another pin the answer. Which one of these characters is Huntress?
I forgot all about this fucking movie.
I love this
Holy
movie so
shit.
fucking much.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go with
They
that
sent
one.
it out
It's
to
my
die.
whole heart. I know.
Oh, she has a. No, that can't be her.
This is one of the last movies I
Yeah.
saw before the world ended. It was this and Detective Pikachu, and I was like, these are great.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah.
Again,
I love it so
convoluted name and bad marketing.
much. Yeah.
All right. Oh, we
Oh,
split it.
I got it wrong.
Okay.
Oh no, I didn't get it right.
Damn it.
Yeah, I saw the
guess
girl with
with
the
Eric.
bat after I picked it. I was like, she's got a bat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Right.
I narrowed my
Uh-oh.
chances down to 25%.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's like, I know it's not Harley Quinn. I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli, chill. I was just kidding. You got to be at the bottom.
All right. Second place is up for grabs here. We got a couple questions left.
It's
Why not?
anybody's
What?
game, you guys.
19
Third
and 20.
place. Third place is up for grabs. Second place is mine.
Whoa! Second place, 500 points. Isn't there many? To give you guys, to give the listening audience an update, Kate is well in the lead with 10,161.
Oh yeah, it's over. Points over. It doesn't
Dylan
matter anymore.
has
This-
5,322. Eric has 4,822. and Eli has 4,623. So we're fighting for.
Kate has a streak of
Just
6
so you know,
correct
at the
answers
end
in a
of
row.
this, there is a podium, and one of you will be on the ground looking up at everybody else on the podium. So
That's sad.
It's like Mario Kart where they make you drive away.
yeah, literally. Yeah. All right, next question. We have a quiz. What does Dexter call his urge to kill? Is it
Finally.
the passenger, Dark Shadow, the Code, or the Dark Passenger?
Ooh, I don't know if that's right.
I don't know this.
Ah, it is
Yeah.
right.
Boom.
Okay.
The Code
I was
is
like, why
in the,
would you put
in,
the
in
I'm
the show.
I'm the only one who
Eli, no!
Why are my guesses so wrong?
The Code.
They keep talking about
The Code is in the show. That's his code to like who he can and cannot kill. But the Dark Passenger is what he speaks to.
Yeah.
Dark Shadow is from
explaining
My
it
Hero
doesn't-
Academia.
You explaining it doesn't make me feel better.
Okay, I tried. Dark Shadow is from My Hero Academia.
You know, I don't even want your stupid. I don't want your stupid podium. I want to be on the ground.
All right.
My phone says no one said it would be easy. Winky face.
Winky face?
I gave you the
Love
winky
this.
emoji.
Honestly.
So
Gave him
condescending.
Gave him that Marvel Rivals. You can't win them all.
Can't win them all. Fuck you, Galactus.
I know that.
All right, last question. Here we go.
All the Marvels.
Another puzzle. Put them in order. Place these MCU films from highest to lowest box office gross. Highest to lowest box office numbers. Place
Box
them in
office
order.
gross.
We
Okay.
have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Captain Marvel, Thor Ragnarok, and Captain America the Winter Soldier. So,
Highest at top.
yep.
Okay.
So we got our contestants putting them in order, which made the most money out of these 4 films. The results will shock you.
Oh, well, shit. Then I don't think I'm right.
Yeah.
I almost hit submit, and then you said the results will shock you, and I just stopped. Oh, shit. No.
Really?
I didn't mean to
Really?
yet. Oh, no.
God
That's
damn it,
incredible.
dude.
Captain Marvel is a
Damn.
top 10 MCU.
You know what?
grossing
Good
film.
for
Over
her.
$1 billion, right?
Huh?
Made over $1 billion.
What's
I
that?
think-
Yeah, it did. Made over $1 billion worldwide.
I
Wow.
flipped Ragnarok and fucking Guardians, dude. I knew
Oh,
that was gonna be it.
No.
Yeah.
I got every placement wrong.
I did too.
Honestly,
I
okay, you getting it wrong
Guys.
is a little different than Eli getting
Guys.
it wrong right now.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Eli is living in
It's
the,
crazy.
in the Jonathan
I
realm.
know.
Thor
for
Ragnarok
My-
and
Wow,
Winter
no.
Soldier are the 2 best movies on this list.
That's
sitting
what
there
I
at the bottom.
thought.
My Earth profile picture looks so sad.
As you should.
It looks sickly.
All right, let's check the podium, folks. Here's the podium. 3rd place goes to Eric.
Yay.
He made a comeback there. 2nd place goes to Dylan. Look at that happy pug. And 1st place, the first Kahoot champion of What Did I Miss, is Kate with her raccoon in her what's it called? What's that movie
My
with
Little
Florence
Flower
Pugh?
Crown?
What's the Florence Pugh movie in her
Oh, Midsummer.
Midsummer flower?
My May Queen crown? Yeah. Let's go, baby.
So there we go. I can view summary. Okay,
Oh, wow.
interesting. Look at all this stuff. So
Practice makes perfect.
We
okay.
didn't see Eli on the ground.
Yeah.
That's positive.
oh, hold on.
I just.
Oh yeah, it's right here.
I'm gonna start my own Kahoot with blackjack and hookers.
Oh man. So there you go, guys. First ever time we play Kahoot. Like I said, Eric, I think this has a lot of potential for not only this, but also for conventions. So if you were listening, we hope to bring this to, if we ever get to do more panels, like anime game time, etc. So a lot of fun. But Eric, anything else that we need to mention before we let our guests say goodbye one last time? Anything that we missed for this before we head out of here? Over to, what do we approach 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
It's like a Game of Thrones episode.
Maybe 3 now
Yeah.
in total, but yeah, no, a lot of fun. Getting an extra person in there added to the madness, but in a very good way. So thank you guys for joining, and no, Phil, nothing from me.
All right, let's go in order on my screen. Eli, let us know. I know there is some heavily anticipated stuff coming down the pipeline as the hard work is being put in by your counterparts. So please let us know about Super Racket Bros and anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here.
I love on the co-host episode. All the co-hosts have to plug which is just
It's good practice.
It's a test we didn't study.
No, yeah, I am one half of Super Bracket Bros with my friend Jay, who is the bracketologist. He's currently finishing up editing the mammoth that was the GURP season of Super Bracket Bros. But so he's getting done with that, and then we are moving on to season 7 of Super Bracket Bros. I don't want to spoil what the theme is, but we're turning back to form. No role playing, no dice rolling, no narratives. We're just going straight fight to fight, co-host or host to host, and just good old fashioned, easy to edit Super Bracket Bros. So yeah, if you want to give us a listen, you can find us on any place you catch your podcasts on. That's Super Bracket Bros. We also have Instagram if you want to follow us there. So yeah, we hope to see you soon.
Kate, throwing it over to you. What's going on with you guys in Game of Thrones?
Hey, I am the freeloading co-host of Game of Groans, a Game of Thrones watch podcast that my sister, Emily, had never seen Game of Thrones. She watched the entire thing with me as her co-host, and now we are both watching House of the Dragon, aka Dragon House, for the first time. We're both very confused, but it's been a good time. And then we're going to figure out what we do after that, because Dragon House Season 2 only came out about 6 months ago, so it's really weird. But yeah, we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky because we don't do Twitter anymore. We are at Game of Groans Pod, and you can come talk to us about Game of Thrones over there. We are spoiler free. We are only up to, I think, episode 4, so please don't send us spoilers for new stuff. But also, if you like me and you want to, talk to me and watch me gloat about beating all of these guys, I'm literally everywhere at Ophelia Swims. Ophelia, like from Hamlet, 5WIMS.
Awesome. And Dylan, what's going on over at your friendly neighborhood gamers? You guys just had a really awesome opportunity to jump into a very highly anticipated game as well.
So you can find us basically wherever you find podcasts, your podcast platform of choice, at your friendly neighborhood gamers. That is me as the co-host and Andrew as the main host over there. We recently got a chance to try out Elden Ring Night Rain early. We got a chance to be part of the network test. So that episode is live. It went live today as of when we're recording this, so it'll probably have been out for like a week or two by the time this. I don't know when this episode comes out, but
it'll be on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, it'll be so. So if you're interested in Night Rain, go check that out. We also have, as Phil mentioned, a ton of episodes. I think everybody who is here has been on the show at some point. And so if you're interested in any of the people here, we've got episodes with them and a bunch of episodes with the Wait For It guys, including a fantasy critic draft where we all just kind of draft various video games and try to make the best roster of games that gets the highest scores. So that is something that you might be interested in checking out. So we're on all podcasting platforms. We're on YouTube. So if you have room in your life for another podcast or whatever, maybe go check that out. I don't know. We're a co-host. We're not good at plugging. So
perfect. Well, again, everything will be in the show notes of this episode. We had such a fun time with this group, Eric. We just could not wait until December to get at least some of them back together. So we'll have to run this back with the regular host and see how that goes. And we'll just compare and contrast. And Kate will be up to Emily to claim the Kahoot crown. So
it's going to be a tight 45-minute episode.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's going to be so guys, can we stay on topic?
It will be great. It will be great to see the juxtaposition between the two episodes and the runtime specifically. Eric will be amazing to compare.
We'll do a compare contrast episode of those two episodes.
Oh boy. So if you need anything from any of the shows that were just mentioned, again, the Linktree link in the show notes is which is where you can find the Wait For It podcast Linktree. You can keep up with this over on social media. The most important ones: Instagram, TikTok, Discord. We stream every other week over on Twitch, and we also are on YouTube. If you want to support the show and every show you hear today that is represented, go on over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it may be. 5-star reviews. A+, thumbs up, whatever the hell it is that you do on that podcast app of choice. All of that is extremely beneficial to the lifeblood of a podcast, and we very much appreciate it if you would do that for all of us. And if you find yourself wanting maybe some extra content, and if you wonder what the fuck is a Weight Watcher, well, Eric will tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so listen, we're about almost 3 hours into this episode. If
You're here, you're committed.
You're here already. So to become a Weight Watcher, all you have to do is join our Patreon, and you're able to become a patron and subscribe for extra bonus things like behind-the-scenes access, early access to episodes like this one. So shout out to our current patrons, Briar, Stefan, T3 Kato, Corey from The World Is My Burrito, and Vintage and Bridget from Retro AV Rewind. We really appreciate your support, and we also just set up a private Discord channel in our servers. So if you want to join that and see the craziness going on, make sure to do that. But with that being said, my name is Mr. Eric Almighty. That is my co-host, Phil the Filipino, and Dylan, Kate, and Eli from the Super Bracket Bros universe that we love to continuously plug and promote. We release episodes every Wednesday for the Wait For It podcast, and we also do bonus content on platforms like TikTok and Twitch, and all you gotta do is wait for it.
This is the Wait For It podcast.